Chapter 115. The purple fish's injuries were visibly recovering under the green light. In just a short while, the purple fish was completely healed. It looked as if it had never been injured, which was quite astonishing. Big Sister Lee Air is so amazing. The little girl with the golden scale between her eyebrows said excitedly. The purple fish had recovered its vitality and was also excitedly swimming around Miss Lear. Miss Lear lovingly stroked the purple fish and reprimanded, "Yen Zi, today you know how powerful that shark is. Don't try to show off in the future." The purple fish's small eyes rolled around as it constantly wagged its tail and acted like a spoiled child. Miss Lear faintly smiled and then turned her head to stare blankly. Soon after, she smiled and said, "Mr. Lu Xing, why are you always staring at me? Is there something on my face?" Miss Lear's mouth had a hint of ridicule. "Ah." Qin Yu woke up with a start. He then sorted out his emotions and said, "It's just that when I saw Miss Lear heal just now, I was surprised. The nature of that green energy seems to be very strange. It actually has such a special effect on injuries." Qin Yu secretly let out a sigh of relief. He couldn't help but admire himself for being able to come up with a response in an instant. Miss Lear faintly smiled and said, "This green energy is actually a special ability of my clan. Outsiders are not allowed to learn it. It does have a very good effect on the injuries of the human body. Generally, as long as the person doesn't die, they can be saved." "Oh, it's really miraculous," Qin Yu hurriedly said. Miss Lear smiled and turned to return to her room. Qin Yu laughed at himself. Just now, he was actually attracted by Miss Lear's appearance when she was healing. That was really embarrassing. Fortunately, he reacted quickly. "Hey, big brother Qin Yu, come and fight with me again," Ho Fei said while waving his black stick. At this moment, Qin Yu wasn't in the mood to fight with Ho Fei. Moreover, fighting with a Yuanying middle-stage mythological beast was just asking for a beating. Although Qin Yu liked to fight, he didn't like to be abused. Time passed. In the blink of an eye, Qin Yu had stayed in the valley for half a month. During this half-month, Qin Yu occasionally played with Ho Fei. Most of the time, Qin Yu was practicing stellar transformations and northern underworld. Qin Yu also enjoyed another leisure activity, listening to zither music. Qin Yu had to admit that listening to Miss Lear's zither music once was a great fortune. The reason why Qin Yu was able to listen to it for so long was because Uncle Lon and Miss Lear treated him too well. According to Ho Fei, even Ho Fei couldn't live in this bamboo house. Ho Fei couldn't understand why an outsider like Qin Yu could live here. Qin Yu also felt that Uncle Lan's attitude towards him was very good. Miss Lear's attitude towards Qin Yu was also very good. Of course, Miss Lear's attitude towards all the demonic beasts in the valley didn't mean anything. However, Uncle Lon was different. Uncle Lon treated other demonic beasts very seriously. Even a mid-stage Yuanying divine beast couldn't live here, but they let me live here. Could it be because I'm also a human? Qin Yu thought over and over again, and this was the only answer he could come up with. In fact, Qin Yu had a more confident answer in his heart. However, Qin Yu didn't want to think that Uncle Lon and Miss Lear were so despicable. This answer was because of his Lu Xing's tear. Qin Yu didn't know when he was rescued. He didn't know to what extent his injuries had healed when Miss Lear saw him. If Miss Lear found out that he had a fatal injury that was now healed, she would definitely guess that he had some kind of treasure. Although Lu Xing's tear had fused into his body, outsiders wouldn't be able to discover it. However, outsiders would also guess what kind of treasure it was. I hope Miss Lear and Uncle Lon didn't do this to me because of the Lu Xing's tear. Qin Yu's heart was still as cold and hard as before. Since he was a child, Qin Yu had been alone and had almost never experienced any maternal love. Therefore, his heart was even stronger and he was also even more manly. The blood of the Qin clan's men contained iron blood. In the deepest part of his heart, Qin Yu had always been vigilant against these two mysterious Xiaxianists. After taking a deep breath and slowly exhaling, Qin Yu hid this thought deep in his heart. After that, he calmed down and started to practice the Northern Darkness again. The Northern Darkness, a Shoma secret technique, is the most important to Qin Yu. Even if he escaped from the Xiaxianists' island, he would still be killed if that cave master of the Red Blood Cave, Shahon, caught up with him. Firstly, the power of underwater Zuyoists is far greater than that of Xiaxianists and Xiamoists. Shahon occupies an area of 8 million li in radius. Which Xiaxianist school would dare to oppose him? Secondly, even if he reached the Xiaxianists' island, they might not necessarily accept him. Moreover, facing Shahon, how would those Xiaxianists dare to offend Shahon for him? Considering these 2 points, he must learn the Northern Darkness. After all, he killed Shagon and offended Shahon. The space of his mind is misty and boundless. Incorporeal spiritual energy is floating in it. Qin Yu himself can feel that the outermost 1/10 of this spiritual energy is very stable because it is under Qin Yu's control. However, the rest of the spiritual energy either forms a whirlpool, drifts extremely fast or collides with each other. In short, it is chaotic. In the core area is the soul disk. Various lightning bolts are flashing in the soul. An extremely weak strand of stellar energy flows into his mind. Qin Yu does not dare to control too much stellar energy. After all, the more stellar energy there is, the harder it will be to control. Therefore, he tries his best to control as little as possible. He only takes a strand of stellar energy. However, even though it is just a strand, Qin Yu still cannot fuse it with his spiritual energy. He tries again and again. Very soon, 6 hours have passed. How many times has he tried in 6 hours? Qin Yu does not know either. Just like trying to thread a needle with a thread, he has failed again and again. After 6 hours of continuous failure, even if he has a good temperament, he will still get angry. In fact, this is also a way to train one's temperament. I've failed again. It's been half a month. When will I succeed in practicing this Northern Darkness? Could it be that I have to hide like a turtle as long as I can't succeed? There is a hint of resentment in Qin Yu's eyes. Why did he leave the Qianlong continent at that time? Wasn't it because he wanted to embark on the endless path of Xiuxiu? What he wanted was to go on a vigorous journey instead of hiding like a turtle from his enemies. The zither strings are plucked, and the sound of the zither is heard. Miss Lear begins to play the zither again. Hearing the sound of the zither, Qin Yu puts aside the resentment of not being able to successfully practice Northern Darkness. He closes his eyes and quietly enjoys the sound of the zither that shakes his soul. The sound of the zither stops, but Qin Yu is still immersed in the aftertaste. Lu Xing, Uncle Lon strides in. As soon as he sees Qin Yu's appearance, he suddenly laughs. Li Er's zither sounds fascinate you to this extent. You are really... Uncle Lon, it is Miss Lear's zither sounds that I am so immersed in it. I would not be so fascinated by an ordinary zither player. Qin Yu says with a smile. Uncle Lan's eyes brighten. Oh, you are not fascinated by other zither players. I understand. It is because Miss Lear plays the zither that you are fascinated. Tell me the truth. Are you interested in Lear? Uncle Lon ridicules. Don't talk nonsense. Qin Yu is not nervous. Uncle Lon smiles. It's just a joke. Don't take it seriously, kid. Qin Yu curls his lips and smiles, but does not answer. Uncle Lan's face suddenly becomes serious. Lu Xing, Uncle Lon has been chatting with you these days. You should know what kind of person Uncle Lon is. Uncle Lon is rarely serious at this time. Seeing Uncle Lon like this, Qin Yu also becomes serious and says with a nod, Uncle Lon, if you have something to say, just say it. Uncle Lon warns, Lu Xing, I'm warning you. You must not have any hope for Lear. You'd better not fall in love with her. Otherwise, not only will you suffer for the rest of your life, you may also lose your life at any time. Qin Yu is startled. Then he bursts out laughing, Uncle Lon, what are you talking about? Don't joke with me. Uncle Lon, however, does not smile at all. I'm not joking. To be honest, you have a very promising future. In the entire Xiaoyao world, there will definitely be nobody who can catch up with you. But there is one thing I have to tell you. Once you fall in love with Lier, it will be useless no matter how powerful you are. Logically speaking, I don't have to warn you. But I really don't want you to be destroyed like this. Qin Yu is baffled. Alright, let's say I worried too much. But you'd better remember what I said today. It's also my advice to you. Uncle Lon says while staring into Qin Yu's eyes. Qin Yu feels his heart tremble for a while. Just now Uncle Lon said something really astonishing. First, he said something about Qin Yu having a very promising future and that nobody in the entire Xiuyao world can catch up with him. Who does Uncle Lon think he is? Does he think he can judge people so accurately? Uncle Lon, I'll keep that in mind. Qin Yu says with a smile. But neither Qin Yu nor Uncle Lon can be sure of one thing, which is that feelings are simply uncontrollable. When a certain moment of feeling emerges, it is impossible to stop it even if you want to. Alright, train hard. Uncle Lon pats Qin Yu's shoulder then leaves. Qin Yu looks at Uncle Lan's back thoughtfully. What does this Uncle Lon mean by saying that? It seems that if I fall in love with Miss Lier, my love will be destroyed. Is there such a thing as certainty? Recalling the various behaviors of Uncle Lon and Miss Lier, it is obvious that Uncle Lon and Miss Lier should belong to a special clan. Haha, perhaps Uncle Lon and Miss Lier belong to a very formidable clan. But, if I want to love someone, even immortals won't be able to stop me, let alone those clans. Moreover, I haven't fallen in love with anyone yet. Qin Yu gives an unconcerned smile. He has never been a coward. Nobody can suppress him. Even against people who are stronger than him, such as the Blood Red Cave's Master Shahon, Qin Yu is only training in secret. It won't be too late for him to go out when he can conceal his identity. Qin Yu is fearless, but he is not a foolish, fearless person. My arm is broken. It was broken by Boss Ho. Holding 2 daggers, the man wearing battle armor says with a bitter face. At this moment, his arm is bent at a strange angle. Clearly, a normal arm would not be bent like this. Ho Fei immediately glared at him with his fiery eyes and roared, "Hee hee, how dare you complain in front of Sister Li? Do you want me to smash your shrimp shell to pieces before you stop?" Fei, stop messing around. Miss Lier, who has changed into a white dress, shouts at Ho Fei. Ho Fei immediately lowers his head and stops talking. He looks like he is admitting his mistake. Miss Lier snappily smiles. Then she turns her head and places her hand on the broken arm of the man. When Qin Yu steps into the courtyard, his eyes can't help but brighten. Bathed in green light, Miss Lier's face looks so holy. Her skin is as glossy as jade and emits green light. Seeing Miss Lier heal others, Qin Yu's heart softens a little. Qin Yu has never felt a mother's love. He has been very strong since he was young. Only a father's love has entered his heart. However, at this moment, Miss Lier's motherly radiance has touched Qin Yu's heart. Qin Yu instantly becomes alert. Lu Xing, let me remind you. You must not have any hopes for Lier. It's best if you don't fall in love with her. Otherwise... Uncle Lan's warning once again resounds in Qin Yu's heart. Qin Yu immediately breaks away from his previous state. Alright, when you go back, don't fight with Fei again. You'll only get hurt if you fight with him, Miss Lier instructed. The man's injuries are now completely healed. He says helplessly, "Fight with him? Do you think I want to fight? It's all because of Boss Ho. It's my honor to fight with Boss Ho. I'm very proud and excited." The man immediately changes his words when he sees Ho Fei's gaze. Miss Lier smiles. When she turns her head, she sees Qin Yu standing to the side. "Hello, Mr. Lu Xing," Qin Yu also says very politely. "Hello, Miss Lier." Seeing Miss Lier's healing skills again, I can't help but be amazed. Suddenly, Qin Yu's face shows a hint of joy. Qin Yu can clearly sense that Xiao He is rushing in his direction. "Mr. Lu Xing, you seem to have something to be happy about?" Miss Lier asks curiously. Qin Yu nods excitedly and says, My brother Xiao He is rushing here right now. He'll probably arrive in a few days. Oh, then congratulations, Mr. Lu Xing. When brother Mr. Lu Xing arrives, please tell me first. There are restrictions outside the valley. If outsiders don't have someone inside to guide them, it'll be very difficult for them to enter, Miss Li says with a smile. Then I'll have to trouble Miss Li. Qin Yu nods with a smile. Miss Li smiles. Mr. Lu Xing is busy, so I'll go back to my room first. After saying this, she turns around and goes back to her room. Qin Yu watches Li Er's back as she enters her room. He smiles slightly, then turns around and goes back to his room to continue cultivating. Every day, Qin Yu cultivates the astral transformations and the demonic secret skill, Dark North. He never slacks off. Several days later, Qin Yu can clearly sense that Xiao He is already very close, even within 50 kilometers. However, Xiao He suddenly stops. Qin Yu understands that Xiao He is blocked by the restrictions of the valley. Qin Yu immediately stands up and prepares to ask Miss Li for help. Chapter 116. After leaving the room, to Qin Yu's surprise, Miss Li had already walked out of the room and into the courtyard. As soon as she saw Qin Yu come out, she smiled and said, Mr. Lu Xing, I already know that your brother is here. Let's go. Qin Yu smiled and followed beside Miss Li. The two of them walked side by side towards the entrance of the valley. Qin Yu could even smell the scent of Miss Li's hair. The scent was very attractive, and Qin Yu's lips curled into a smile. As they approached the entrance of the valley, Qin Yu's heart was filled with excitement at the prospect of seeing Xiao He. Qin Yu and Miss Li walked out of the entrance of the valley so easily. How could there be any restrictions? However, as soon as they turned around, they would discover that the entrance of the cave had become the same stone wall as the other places. This was just an illusion technique. However, it was an extremely advanced illusion technique. Even Xiao He couldn't discover it. Seeing Xiao He not far away, Qin Yu's eyes immediately lit up. Ever since they had been chased by Sang Mo and separated, Qin Yu hadn't reunited with Xiao He. A while ago, Qin Yu and Xiao He just happened to reunite, but they ran into Chago and Chap, so they didn't reunite. Xiao He. Qin Yu's slightly trembling voice sounded. Xiao He suddenly turned around. Seeing Qin Yu, he immediately let out a high-pitched eagle cry. The eagle cry even scared away the surrounding schools of fish. Big brother. Xiao He's excited voice rang out in Qin Yu's mind. Qin Yu quickly rushed to Xiao He's side and hugged Xiao He. Xiao He also used his wings to wrap around Qin Yu. Miss Li stood to the side, a hint of a smile on her face. Xiao He, you've changed. You've become half as thin as before, and even your aura has changed. What's going on? At this moment, Qin Yu discovered Xiao He's astonishing changes. If they hadn't been telepathic, Qin Yu wouldn't have been so certain. Xiao He had become much thinner, and his aura was very domineering and fierce. His eyes were even sharper and colder than before. Big brother, when I reached the late stage of Jin Dan, I was prepared to kill Sang Mo. Although it was dangerous, I had already used a forbidden technique to change my body. Logically speaking, it should have been easy for me to deal with an early-stage Yuanying expert. Who would have thought that when I met up with you that day, we would encounter a huge python? That python was much stronger than Sang Mo. I estimate that it was at least a mid-stage Yuanying expert. Xiao He was also very angry. Forbidden technique? Qin Yu was shocked. Xiao He said through his spiritual sense, it's a secret technique from my memories. Once I use it, my entire body will be reborn. Even if my cultivation level doesn't change, my attack power will increase by a lot. Blackie had reached the late stage of the Gold Core realm. Even if he did not use the forbidden technique, he could deal with the masters of the early stage of the nascent soul realm. Once he used the forbidden technique, he could even compete with the masters of the middle stage of the nascent soul realm. However, the chap that Xiao He encountered that day was not only a mid-stage Yuanying expert, but also a blood-red aquatic python. Blood-red aquatic pythons are top-class demonic beasts, second only to divine beasts. A mid-stage Yuanying expert is much more powerful than a mid-stage Yuanying Xiaoxianist. Even so, Xiao Hei was only at a slight disadvantage at that time. When he finally escaped, Chap chased after him for a long time but failed to catch up. Later on, after receiving his big brother's order, Chap returned to his cave. "Then why did you only come to my place today?" Qin Yu asked doubtfully. Given Xiao Hei's speed, it should have taken him a lot of time to find him. Xiao Hei said through his holy sense, "Big brother, when I escaped from that python, I wanted to kill Sangamo first. But later I learned that the entire Red Blood Cave was hunting you down, so Sangamo went to the Red Blood Cave together with 2 early-stage Yuanying demonic beasts. With the 3 of them together, I didn't dare to attack them." Before the battle between Shigon and Qin Yu, he arrogantly told Sangamo to prepare a thunder hammer. Later, he died. Sangamo assumed that Qin Yu was the culprit, so he reported it to Shigon. A furious Shigon even ordered Sangamo to go to the Red Blood Cave. Not only Sangamo, even the other guardians outside had to hurry to the Red Blood Cave. Sangamo went to the Red Blood Cave together with the other 2 guardians. Xiao Hei ran a long way in vain, so he had no choice but to go back to find Qin Yu. This round trip covered over 1 million li. "Big brother, you can't go out now. You're being hunted down outside," Xiao Hei reminded him. Qin Yu slightly nodded. Ever since he found out that the person he killed was the vice master of the Red Blood Cave, Qin Yu was able to guess what was going on. It should be known that Sangmo's bounty and the Red Blood Cave's hunt are 2 totally different things. Sangmo's bounty was only meant to attract people. The Red Blood Cave, on the other hand, forced all Zuyoists within a radius of 8 million li to hunt him down. This was an order. This was because the Red Blood Cave was the manager of this area. After returning to the ravine, Xiao Hei and Qin Yu also settled down. However, Xiao Hei's arrival made Ho Fei very happy. This was because Xiao Hei often exchanged blows with him. Moreover, when Xiao Hei used all kinds of strange moves, even Ho Fei had to spend a lot of effort to defeat him. A month passed peacefully. One day, Qin Yu and Xiao Hei are talking to each other in the courtyard. "Big brother, this ravine is really very peaceful. I'm going to go out and wander around for a while." Xiao Hei pondered for a long time, then finally said what he wanted to do. Qin Yu is startled but immediately understands. Xiao Hei is an eagle. An eagle wants to soar to the highest heavens. Even though Xiao Hei stayed in the ravine for a month because of Qin Yu, Xiao Hei is still looking forward to the bloody battles outside the ravine and so on. "Sure, Xiao Hei," Qin Yu says smilingly. Xiao Hei blinks his eagle eyes. He is really a bit reluctant to part with Qin Yu. "Big brother, why don't you also go out and have fun with me?" Xiao Hei says to Qin Yu to persuade him. "Given our power, we'll be able to put up a fight even against middle Yuanying demonic beasts. It's said that in the entire Red Blood Cave, there are only a limited number of demonic beasts that have surpassed the middle Yuanying stage. As long as we're careful, we won't run into any of them." Hearing Xiao Hei's suggestion, Qin Yu is naturally tempted. Qin Yu's blood is boiling and full of passion. There are not many experts in the Red Blood Cave, so if Qin Yu and Xiao Hei are careful, nothing serious will happen to them. Generally, when Zuyoists try to kill them, they will instead give Qin Yu Jin Dan, Yuanying and so on. "No, there's no hurry. Let's wait until I finish practicing the Northern Darkness." "Xiao Hei, don't worry. I'll finish practicing the Northern Darkness as soon as possible." Qin Yu, however, does not agree. Is Qin Yu really staying here to practice the Northern Darkness? Xiao Hei has left. However, the days in the valley continue as usual. Qin Yu practices the stellar transformations and the Xioma secret skill Northern Darkness every day. Despite repeated failures, Qin Yu is not in a hurry. Subconsciously, if he does not succeed in practicing the Northern Darkness, Qin Yu can stay in the valley with a clear conscience. He practices every day and listens to Miss Li, playing the zither every day. Occasionally, he can even see Miss Li treating the injuries of some demonic beasts. Qin Yu even had the idea of fighting with Hou Fei and getting injured himself so that he could experience Miss Li Er's treatment. Of course, Qin Yu throws that idea to the depths of his mind as soon as it appears. 3 years have passed in the blink of an eye. For practitioners, 3 years is really a very short period of time. During this time, Xiao He came back once. Then he stayed in the valley for a month before leaving again. Some time ago, Yan Zi's little fish also transformed into a human form. On this day, Qin Yu sits cross-legged on his bed and practices the northern darkness again. After 3 years of nourishment from Lu Xing's tears, Qin Yu's soul is much stronger than before. Even the toughness of his soul strength has become stronger. Qin Yu can control 1/8 of his soul strength. However, there is still no sign of success in practicing the northern darkness for 3 years. Suddenly, Qin Yu's entire body trembles. A trace of extreme ecstasy appears on his face. At this moment, in his mind, a trace of star strength and a trace of soul strength are entwined with each other as if they are real. It must be known that Qin Yu's biggest problem is that his soul strength and star strength are unable to form a substantial contact. Qin Yu holds back his excitement and continues to wait. Time passes, minute by minute, second by second. The entwined star strength and soul strength begin to fuse together. After an unknown period of time, the star strength and soul strength finally succeeded in fusing, becoming indistinguishable from each other. Qin Yu's eyes suddenly open. 2 rays of light shot out from his eyes. Success. Including the period of time when he was being hunted, Qin Yu has trained for 3 years and finally succeeded. The first trace of star strength and soul strength has been formed. For 3 years, Qin Yu has tried every day. It has even become a habit for him. After fusing star strength and soul strength, this energy will be called soul strength. Qin Yu's breathing becomes a bit ragged. This soul strength is different from star strength and soul strength. However, it is very small, just a trace. But this trace is the key to using the northern darkness. Qin Yu closes his eyes and follows the northern darkness secret technique. That strand of soul force starts to change. Just like that, a strand of soul force forms a talisman according to a strange drawing. Immediately, a strange feeling rushes into his mind. Qin Yu has a certain feeling. With but a thought, he can completely retract his aura. All of this is because of the talisman seal formed from soul strength. It can even increase the suction force, causing the surrounding aura to be absorbed. To outsiders, Qin Yu is like a black hole. After slightly controlling the power of the talisman, Qin Yu's entire body begins to absorb the surrounding aura. He is like a human-shaped black hole, and his aura becomes extremely strange. Success. Qin Yu controls the talisman seal to stop, and Qin Yu returns to his original state. Haha! I finally succeeded. Qin Yu's eyes are shining, and his face is filled with excitement. After waiting for so long, he has finally succeeded. Once he uses this technique to change his aura and his appearance, even Sang Mo won't be able to recognize him. Instantly, the smile on Qin Yu's face vanishes. I've succeeded. I have to leave. Must I leave? Qin Yu suddenly feels a bit disappointed. For the past 3 years, the sound of the zither has become an indispensable part of Qin Yu's life. Miss Li Er's pure and holy appearance when she healed others is forever imprinted in Qin Yu's mind. Uncle Lon walks in from outside, laughing. Lu Xing, you've been training for 9 days in a row. Can it be that you've succeeded? 9 days? Qin Yu is shocked. He didn't expect that the fusion of a trace of star strength and a trace of soul strength would take 9 days. As for succeeding, Qin Yu has obviously succeeded. He can now change his aura at any time. Succeeded? No, it's just some progress. I still need some time to succeed. Qin Yu says to Uncle Lon. Oh. Uncle Lon smiles. It's good that you've made some progress. For the past 3 years, you haven't made any progress. I think you should also want to go to the endless sea of cultivators and make a good name for yourself. Qin Yu can only nod his head. Well, do your best. Uncle Lon is just about to turn around and leave when he suddenly stops and turns around to face Qin Yu. At this moment, Uncle Lon looks very serious. He says, "Lu Xing, remember what I told you 3 years ago?" 3 years ago? Qin Yu is thinking, but Uncle Lon has already left the room. Qin Yu opens the window of the bamboo hut. Through the window, he can see the bamboo hut behind him. At the moment, Miss Li is sitting by the window again. She has taken out a zither and placed it in front of her. She is once again concentrating on playing the zither. From this position, he can only see Miss Li's side profile. In the past, when Miss Li was talking about love, Qin Yu would always close his eyes and listen to her. He has never watched Miss Li play the zither so carefully. Wave after wave of beautiful notes float out from the zither, and Miss Li's face seems to radiate an enchanting brilliance. In an instant, Qin Yu is a bit dazed. Such days don't last for long. Half a month later, the tranquility of the ravine is broken because a group of Zuyoists has been discovered outside the ravine. This group of Zuyoists is frantically and carefully searching the surroundings as if they are chasing someone. Sister Li, bad news. Just now I was playing outside and was questioned by a Zuyoist. Now the Red Blood Cave is chasing after a Xiaoxianist. Yan Zi, who is dressed in purple, rushes in hurriedly and says loudly. In the hut, Qin Yu raises his eyebrows. Qin Yu naturally knows that the Red Blood Cave is chasing after him. But in the beginning, the Red Blood Cave only sent a large number of people to roughly search the area using their holy sense. 2 years later, even after searching the entire area of the Red Blood Cave with their holy sense, they still haven't found him. Qin Yu originally thought the Red Blood Cave would give up. Unexpectedly, the Red Blood Cave has unexpectedly started to send a large number of Zuyoists to carefully search the area. At the moment, the search has already reached this place. That illusionary technique is very mysterious. But nobody can say for sure whether it will really be seen through or not. If it is seen through and the people of the Red Blood Cave come in, then… Yan Zi, don't worry. Those people won't be able to find this place. Miss Li says smilingly. She looks very calm. Uncle Lon, who is drinking tea in the courtyard, doesn't care about this at all. Uncle Lon, Miss Li, I've already mastered the Northern Darkness technique. I'm going to leave. Qin Yu walks out of the hut with a smile. At the same time, Qin Yu starts to control the talisman formed by the soul force in his mind. Immediately, Qin Yu's entire body seems to have turned into a black hole. Not only does it not emit any aura, it even absorbs the aura of the surroundings, including the holy energy of the universe. The shape of Qin Yu's face also starts to change slowly. Even though the change is very small, his entire body has become much colder. He now has the appearance of the assassin Lu Xing. At the same time, Qin Yu is wearing a black Chong Pao. This is a Chong Pao made by Lei Wei of Thunder Mountain House. I believe that nobody will recognize me after this. Looking at Miss Li, Uncle Lon and that Yan Zi girl, Qin Yu says smilingly. Qin Yu's hair is only an inch long. Even though he is wearing a black Chong Pao, Qin Yu looks very grave and stern because of the muscles on his upper body. In addition, his entire body is absorbing the aura of the surroundings like a black hole. People can't help but feel coldness from the bottom of their hearts. Good. Uncle Lon looks at Qin Yu with a trace of admiration in his eyes. Qin Yu smiles slightly. He always felt that Uncle Lon is unfathomable, as if he can see through all of his thoughts. Miss Li looks at Qin Yu's current appearance and her eyes also brightens. She exclaims in admiration, Mr. Lu Xing's secret technique is really mysterious. Outsiders definitely won't be able to see through it. At this moment, a voice sounds. Big brother Lu Xing, I want to go out with you. Master, please let me go out. Kurowa's cultivation is even worse than mine, but he can still go out. Please let me go out. Ho Fei impatiently rushes in and says without stopping. Ho Fei then looks at Qin Yu, urging him with his eyes. At the same time, he says via holy sense communication, Big brother Lu Xing, please give me a hand. Qin Yu gives a smile then says to Uncle Lon, Uncle Lon, Fei is a divine beast. Given his power, he won't be in any danger in the underwater world of zooyoists. Besides, if he doesn't go through trials and hardships, he probably won't be able to grow. Just let him go out. Qin Yu has been calling Ho Fei Fei for 3 years, so he has become familiar with him. That's why he calls him so familiarly. Ho Fei immediately looks at Uncle Lon pitifully. Uncle Lon shakes his head and gives a helpless smile. All right, since Lu Xing said so, you can go out with Lu Xing. But you have to remember that unless it's absolutely necessary, don't go berserk and start fighting. Got it. Uncle Lon looks solemnly at Ho Fei. Ah, got it. Ho Fei jumps up excitedly at once. Ho Fei hugs Qin Yu enthusiastically. Thank you, Big Brother Lu Xing. Big Brother, let's go. I don't want to stay here for even a moment longer. Ho Fei's heart has already flown out of the valley. Now he is very excited. Qin Yu slightly nods. Suddenly, Qin Yu looks at Uncle Lon and Miss Li, saying, Miss Li, Uncle Lon, before we go, I want to tell you something. Lu Xing is just my code name. My real name is Qin Yu. Fei, let's go. Qin Yu doesn't want to say anything at all. He directly walks out of the bamboo house. Haha, I'm going out. Get ready to be beaten up by me, one by one. Haha. Ho Fei is very excited. Qin Yu doesn't turn around to take another look, because he doesn't want to see it. Will I ever come back here? Qin Yu asks himself in his heart, but even he can't answer himself. Qin Yu suddenly smiles. Perhaps I should belong to a life of carnage, with ups and downs of passion. Chapter 117. After going out of the ravine, Ho Fei's entire body is filled with vigor at once. His fiery eyes look around excitedly. At the bottom of the ocean, a huge whale swims past. Ho Fei shouts and reaches out his hand. Various rays of light envelop that whale. That whale starts to shrink extremely fast. In just a while, only a layer of skin is left. Caca, what a good amount of essence blood. It's very hard to stay in the ravine. I was even reprimanded for killing a few fishes. The outside world is indeed very pleasant. Caca, Ho Fei dances with joy and excitement and scratches his ears and cheeks. He is indeed very happy. Qin Yu is slightly startled. Devouring essence blood is also an extremely rare technique for demonic beasts. This Ho Fei is indeed a divine beast. He unexpectedly knows this technique. Fei, this underwater world of zooyoists is very cruel. Just a word of disagreement and people may kill each other. Divine beasts have amazing potential. If other people find out that you're a divine beast, maybe some experts will directly kill you to avoid future troubles. So, Big Brother, I know. Caca, it's just hiding my strength. Haha. Ho Fei blinks his fiery eyes and says laughingly. Qin Yu has lived with Ho Fei for 3 years, so he knows that Ho Fei is very smart. Master said that I can't use the berserk fighting mode in the future. I'll restrain myself a bit more and keep my power at the 3rd layer. Ho Fei thinks for a while, then makes a decision. Qin Yu has also heard about the berserk fighting mode. Ho Fei in that mode is very terrifying. When Ho Fei is not in that mode, he is already very powerful. Once he enters that mode, he is simply terrifying. Catch. Qin Yu tosses Ho Fei an identity jade tile. Qin Yu has killed quite a few zooyoists, so naturally he has obtained quite a few identity jade tiles. He casually takes one out. After all, with this identity jade tile, it will be a bit easier for him to do things later. Caca, what's this? Ho Fei receives the identity jade tile and looks it up and down. Fei, this identity jade token is used to identify your identity. All you need to do is drip a drop of blood on it and absorb it into your body. Normally, people from the same faction were not allowed to kill each other, but people from different factions were allowed to kill each other. As for the people with the 9 Fiends identity jade plate, they couldn't be killed either. But this is only true for ordinary zooyoists. In the end, Qin Yu adds this sentence. So what if he killed him? He was only facing the pursuit of the Red Blood Cave law enforcers. Of course, the premise was that the other party could find the murderer. As long as he did it cleanly and left no traces behind, who couldn't he kill? I understand. Isn't it just a battle between different powers? Humph. When will I also occupy a treasure land, recruit a group of subordinates, and become the boss? Ho Fei was very arrogant. Qin Yu gives a smile. Don't bite off more than you can chew. Let's go. I'll slowly explain to you the various big underwater zooists on the way. It's not as easy as you think to be the boss. As the two of them go on their way, Qin Yu tells Ho Fei about the various branches of the underwater zooist world as well as some necessary basic knowledge. Of course, this is what Qin Yu learned from soul-searching in the past. Hey, you two, stop. We're the gods of the Red Blood Cave. Following a loud shout, a group of 50 zooists appears in front of Qin Yu and Ho Fei. These 50 zooists are all pretty good, but the strongest among them is only at the late stage of Jin Dan. They are basically nothing to Qin Yu and Ho Fei. Haha, why are you calling your uncle? Ho Fei laughed strangely, staring at the leader of the skinny group. Being stared at by Ho Fei, the zooist leader's hair stands on end and his heart trembles. This monkey doesn't care at all when he hears that I'm a guard. Judging from his aura, he must be an expert of the Yuanying stage. The one beside him. At the sight of Qin Yu, the thin zooist's face turns even livid. With his sturdy chest and rare inch-long hair, Qin Yu's entire body gives off an aura of toughness. But Qin Yu is wearing a black robe from head to toe, which is fluttering in the wind. In addition, Qin Yu's entire body is absorbing the surrounding aura like a black hole without giving off any aura at all. Seeing Qin Yu's eyes, the thin zooist's heart trembles even more. Domineering, indifferent and cruel. The thin zooist immediately defines Qin Yu. Being able to become the leader of a small guard team, he has some insight. Didn't you hear your grandpa's question? Ho Fei's voice rises again. The thin zooist immediately looks at Ho Fei. Being stared at by Ho Fei's fiery eyes, he is a bit scared. He says at once, "Seniors, I've been ordered by the cave master to search for a Zyuxionist. This Zyuxionist has a magnanimous aura. He doesn't have any demonic aura and his power is very hot and pure. If you know who he is, you can tell me." At the moment, the thin zooist is very respectful. He even tells them some of the characteristics of Zyuxionists. A faint smile appears on the corners of Qin Yu's mouth corners. Magnanimous? When Qin Yu first went to the bottom of the sea, his aura was indeed very magnanimous. Add to that the pure and hot aura of his energy, it was indeed very easy to tell him apart. However, after successfully practicing the Northern Darkness, Qin Yu's entire aura has changed completely. You can piss off now. Ho Fei says while waving his hand. The thin zooist is delighted as soon as he hears this. Ignoring Ho Fei's disdain, he bows and says, "Then I'll take my leave." After saying so, he immediately shouts an order to his subordinates. "All of you, go to the southern area and search. Let's go quickly." After saying so, he hurriedly leads his subordinates away. The thin zooist knows very well that even though the rule forbids people of the same power from killing each other, some people don't care about this rule at all. It's fine as long as the corpses are destroyed and no evidence is left behind. Haha, a bunch of cowards. Just now I even wanted to taste some meat. Ho Fei's fiery eyes flash with a hint of red light. On one side, Qin Yu gives a smile. When he was chatting with Uncle Lon at that time, Uncle Lon already told him that fire-eyed water apes are wild and unruly. At the same time, they are violent and want to kill each other. This is their nature. Fei, where do you think we should go? Ho Fei's fiery eyes flash with light. He says, "Do you still need to ask? Just now you said that zooists are usually scattered all over the Red Blood Cave. Only the Blood Red Ridge has the most zooists. Let's go there." Qin Yu raises his eyebrows. The Blood Red Ridge? The headquarters of the Red Blood Cave, half of the zooists within 8 million li of the cave are gathered here. Even though you know there are tigers on the mountain, you still want to go there. All right, the blood-red ridge. Let's go there. Qin Yu waves his robe. His eyes glitter. On one side, Ho Fei also shouts strangely excitedly. Afterwards, Qin Yu and Ho Fei rush to the blood-red ridge extremely fast, side by side. His black robe flutters. Qin Yu's ice-cold eyes flash with fierceness. The blood-red ridge? Perhaps not even Sang Mo can recognize it in front of him, let alone Qin Yu. What does he have to be afraid of? At worst, he and Ho Fei will kill each other in the blood-red ridge. If you have power, you should be a bit more rampant and wanton. If you go against your conscience, you might as well not embark on this difficult and dangerous path of cultivation. The two of them are extremely fast. At first, Qin Yu's flaming sword was forged from in-rock flaming iron. Then, in Lei Mountain House, Qin Yu fused crystals with dark and metal properties so that the flaming sword became a high-grade holy weapon. Qin Yu only gives it a thought and the flaming sword turns black. It emits a dark aura. Qin Yu is totally capable of turning the flaming sword red and emitting flames. He can also turn the flaming sword golden. Standing on the black flaming sword and wearing a black robe, Qin Yu looks very cold indeed. Kaka. Interesting. Ho Fei's fiery eyes unexpectedly shoot hazy red light into the distance. This is the first time that Ho Fei has left the outside world. It is also the first time that he has seen so many underwater creatures. Naturally, he is very excited. Suddenly, Big Brother, stop. In the blink of an eye, the red light emitted by Ho Fei's fiery eyes unexpectedly becomes much clearer and shoots directly at a mountain rock at the bottom of the sea. What are you doing? Qin Yu stops and looks at Ho Fei. Ho Fei also has some special skills. Since he asked Qin Yu to stop, he naturally has his reasons. Ho Fei grimaces and is very proud. Big Brother, you don't know this. My fiery eyes have a magical power. The higher my power, the more powerful my fiery eyes are. Now my fiery eyes can find some natural treasures. Qin Yu's heart leaps. Eyes can find treasures? Kaka, break for me. Ho Fei smiles and stretches out his hand. The black stick suddenly appears and at the same time, it suddenly lengthens and smashes the mountain rock. Immediately, the mountain rock is shattered and splintered in all directions. And in the center of the shattered mountain rock, there is unexpectedly a pebble emitting red light. Qin Yu uses his holy sense to scan it. It's actually a high-grade warm jade. Jade born from stone. What a treasure. Qin Yu immediately recognizes that this high-grade warm jade has many special effects. For example, if it is placed on a corpse, it will prevent the corpse from decaying. Moreover, if it is placed on the body, it can calm the mind and is very beneficial for cultivation. At the same time, the warm jade is also a treasure for refining magic weapons and spirit tools. Big Brother, how is it? My fiery eyes are amazing, right? Ho Fei is very proud. It's really amazing. Qin Yu praises. Ho Fei is very strange. He didn't want this warm jade and directly threw it to Qin Yu. Qin Yu thought that Ho Fei doesn't like treasures. When they continue on the road, Qin Yu finds that he was wrong. The road to the blood-red ridge is not far, only about 800,000 li. Along the way, Ho Fei unexpectedly found 7 treasures. Among them, 5 were thrown to Qin Yu and the other 2 were kept by him. Qin Yu finds out that Ho Fei likes some ores for refining weapons, but he doesn't like spirit mushrooms or strange herbs. He doesn't even like warm jade, crushed stone essence, moonlight jade, and other things. Just as Qin Yu and Ho Fei are about to reach the blood-red ridge, the Red Blood Cave's cave master comes out of closed-door training again. In the Red Blood Cave's main hall. Sitting high up, Shahon's complexion is very unsightly. That black jade box still hasn't been opened. That most basic, dust removal restriction, took Shahon more than 100 years. Just now, he had no choice but to come out of the secret room. To open the black jade box, it will take him a year and a half. In the past, when he was in closed-door training, he knew that there was still a long way to go, so his state of mind was still calm. Now that he has reached the final juncture, Shahon is actually worried about personal gains and losses. Sometimes, he is worried that the Nine Spirits Hall, the Blue Dragon Temple, and the Blue River Province will find out about this. Sometimes, he is worried that his subordinates will find out and betray him. Greetings, Cave Master. The 13 protectors below him bow and say at the same time. The 13 protectors of the Red Blood Cave are all experts. Even the weakest protector, although on the surface he is at the late stage of the Jindan stage, his actual attack power is comparable to that of a Yuanying stage. And the strength of the strongest protector is even close to that of Shahon. Although Shahon is the Vice Cave Master, he is not as strong as the strongest protector. Have you caught that Zyuxianist? Shahon's voice came from above. What can the 13 protectors and the Vice Cave Master say? Big brother, that Zyuxianist is very cunning. I have already investigated the few Zyuxianist sects in the 8 million kilometer water region. There is no Zyuxianist with blazing and pure energy. Chap stepped forward and said with a bow. Sangamo also stepped forward and said, Cave Master, that Zyuxianist is very cunning. For the past 3 years, there has been no trace of him at all. I suspect that he might have run off to another power's territory. Umph. Shahon's cold gaze swept past Sangamo. Mo's heart trembled. We have been chasing that Zyuxianist for 3 years. The Nine Spirits Hall has 8 powers under its command. I even asked the other powers' cave masters to help me put out an arrest warrant, but until now, there is still no news at all. The Nine Spirits Hall's territory covers 90 million kilometers. Do you really think that a Zyuxianist can travel 90 million kilometers in 3 short years? Shahon was only one of the 8 cave masters under the command of the Nine Spirits Hall. At most, he could ask the other cave masters for help. As for the Blue Dragon Temple and the Blue River Province, Shahon didn't have the qualifications to ask them to do anything. Sangamo, I remember you mentioned a Black Hawk last time? Shahon suddenly said. Sangamo immediately replied, Cave Master, when we were dealing with that Zyuxianist that day, that Zyuxianist was with a Black Hawk. That Zyuxianist and the Black Hawk seemed to have a very good relationship. They were fighting for each other's lives. Sangamo naturally remembered the battle that day very clearly. He knew that Xiao He and Qin Yu were fighting for each other's lives. Oh. Shahon, who was in the main hall, responded. Then he stopped talking. None of the others dared to make a sound. After a long time, Shahon suddenly said, Pass down my order. From today onwards, not only do we have to hunt down that Zyuxianist, we also have to hunt down that Black Hawk. Remember, it's hunting, not killing. Yes. The 13 guardians and the Vice Cave Master responded at the same time. With a wave of his big sleeve, Shahon disappeared from the main hall. The 13 guardians and the Vice Cave Master knew very well that Shahon often went into closed-door training. Occasionally, he would come out for a while and then go back into closed-door training. Moreover, he hated being disturbed when he was in closed-door training. If we catch the Black Hawk, the Zyuxianist will definitely come. Don't they have a good relationship? Shahon's eyes flashed coldly. Then he entered the secret chamber. No matter how important his brother's revenge was, it was not as important as his black jade box. At this moment, Qin Yu and Ho Fei finally arrived at the Red Blood Cave's headquarters, the Blood Red Ridge, after searching for treasures. Chapter 118. The Red Blood Cave covers an area of 8 million li in radius, and the Blood Red Ridge is the core area of this area. Half of all Zuyoists are gathered here, so this place is obviously much more prosperous and beautiful than other places at the bottom of the sea. At the moment, Qin Yu and Ho Fei have already entered the Blood Red Ridge. There are about 100,000 Zuyoists within an area of 8 million li in radius under the Red Blood Cave. Only 1 in 1,000 Zuyoists has reached the Yuanying stage. In other words, there are nearly 100 Yuanying stage experts in the entire area of 8 million li in radius. But most of them are hiding in their own caves. The Blood Red Ridge is actually a huge underwater mountain range. There are many caves and palaces built on many mountain peaks of the mountain range. Generally, there are 10 odd Zuyoists in a palace and several thousand Xiantian demonic beasts at their command. Large palaces even have over 100 Zuyoists and countless demonic beasts. Kaka, these Zuyoists really know how to ***king enjoy life. Look, those caves. They're really luxurious. Ho Fei looks at the palaces on the mountain peaks in the distance and cannot help praising. Qin Yu glances at the palaces in the distance. He is not very surprised. Zuyoists aren't like mortals, so it's naturally very easy for them to build caves. Moreover, they can even order some Xiantian demonic beasts to help them. In the secular world, it's very difficult to move a 10,000 gene boulder, but it's very easy for Zuyoists. Oh. Qin Yu suddenly looks at a huge mountain peak in the north. Ho Fei's eyes also brighten. He looks at a huge mountain peak in the distance. There is an extremely luxurious palace on that mountain peak, which is not much different from an imperial palace in the secular world. The biggest palace is located on the highest mountain peak of the Blood-Red Ridge. The topmost part of that mountain peak has been cut off, forming a flat surface with a radius of several tens li. On this flat surface, there is a tall and luxurious palace, the Red Blood Cave. The Red Blood Cave is located at the highest point of the Red Blood Cave. The Red Blood Cave occupies an area of several tens li in radius. There are many courtyards and pavilions in the cave. There are squads of Zuyoists patrolling outside the palace. There are also some seductive female Zuyoists serving as maids, dancers and so on inside the palace. Red Blood Cave. Qin Yu saw the words from afar. Ho Fei was also very surprised as he looked at the palace. He was even more shocked than Qin Yu. In any case, Qin Yu had seen the imperial palace in the hidden dragon continent. Moreover, his own mansion was also not small. However, Ho Fei had only seen bamboo houses in the past. Damn it, what a waste. There are only a few people in the Red Blood Cave. However, if I were to live in it, I wouldn't let such a large and luxurious palace go to waste, Ho Fei said as he blinked his eyes. Idiot. 3 Zuyoists fly past him. Hearing Ho Fei's words, they say disdainfully. In the Blood-Red Ridge, Zuyoists are flying from one mountain peak to another in groups of 3 to 5. At first glance, Qin you can see nearly 1,000 Zuyoists flying in all directions. Compared to other places, there are indeed many Zuyoists in this Blood-Red Ridge. Hey, stop for your grandpa. Ho Fei suddenly shouts loudly. His fiery eyes emit terrifying rays of light as he stares directly at those 3 Zuyoists. Those 3 Zuyoists are unexpectedly startled. They seem to be stupefied by Ho Fei's shout just now. The monkey hair all over Ho Fei's body starts to stand up. Damn it, you even dare to curse your grandpa. Listen to me. Your grandpa's name is Ho Fei. Not allowing Ho Fei to finish his words, the other 3 Zuyoists also shout loudly. Harry Monkey, you're unexpectedly arrogant. Who in this Blood-Red Ridge doesn't know us 3 brothers? Let's kill him. After saying so, the 3 Zuyoists each take out their weapons and attack. A hint of blood-red color flashes through Ho Fei's eyes. Pang, pang, pang. 3 black stick silhouettes flash by. A series of bone-breaking sounds are heard and the 3 Zuyoists are sent flying away while screaming miserably. Kaka, you want to fight me? You're courting death. Ho Fei brandishes his black stick arrogantly. Qin Yu makes a sweep with his holy sense and discovers that those 3 Zuyoists only have their legs broken. Ho Fei doesn't go crazy and kill them all. After all, this is the headquarters of the Red Blood Cave and Ho Fei also knows the severity of this matter. Don't worry. They're not dead. Ho Fei says while hefting his black stick carelessly. Suddenly, Ho Fei's fiery eyes brighten. With his hands behind his back, Chap flies out directly from the front gate of the Red Blood Cave. 4 of the 13 guardians follow behind him. They are Baiyin, Ran Ran, Mu Su and Yezhong. Baiyin is the leader of these 4 guardians. Let's go. Let's go to Inkstone Peak. Chap says directly. Vice Master, the wine at Inkstone Peak is really good. I really don't know how that old geezer Yen Lien actually made it. Bain says smilingly beside Chap. Bain is wearing a white suit of armor. He looks elegant, suave and extraordinarily handsome. Ran Ran says with a cold laugh, "Who does that Yen Lien think he is? Just tell him to hand over the method of making wine or kill him." Ran Ran's hair is half blue and half black. Even his face is half black and half blue. Mu Su, on the other hand, remained silent. Yezhong looks like a nice guy who is always smiling. However, the other guardians know how ruthless Yezhong is. Halfway through their flight, the 5 of them suddenly, boom. In the distance, there is the sound of rocks shattering. Chap and the others immediately look in that direction, only to see a faint, colorful light emitted. Chap and the others' eyes immediately brighten. Almost at the same time, they rush towards that direction. Kaka. Big brother, what do you think? Once I make a move, it definitely won't be bad. Ho Fei once again produces a treasure. 5 nights violet flower. Once this flower matures and blossoms, if no one comes to pick it after 5 days, it will automatically fall and lose its medicinal efficacy. Qin Yu's eyes brighten. 5 nights violet flower. This is a treasure for making pills. Its value is definitely comparable to a high-grade holy artifact. Ho Fei doesn't like this kind of treasure for making pills. He directly tosses it to Qin Yu. Qin Yu reaches out and catches it. Stop! With a loud shout, 5 figures suddenly appear in front of Qin Yu. It is Chap and the others. Chap and the others just now saw Ho Fei dig out this treasure with their own eyes. Among them, the Ran Ran Guardian directly reaches out to snatch it. Qin Yu's eyes flash with a cold light. He angrily shouts, "Scram!" Like lightning, Qin Yu kicks out with his leg. Pang! Qin Yu and the Ran Ran simultaneously fly backwards. The 2 of them are unexpectedly neck and neck. Qin Yu sweeps with his spiritual sense and discovers that the opponent has reached the early stage of yuanying. Every time Qin Yu cultivates, his body is formed by tempering it. His body is much stronger than that of ordinary demonic beasts. Although the Ran Ran is at the early stage of yuanying, his body is not as good as Qin Yu's. Qin Yu and the Ran Ran look at each other. They both feel that the other is not to be trifled with. Chap and the others also discover that Qin Yu and Ho Fei are not the kind of people who can be easily bullied. Bain takes a step forward. This 5 nights purple flower belongs to my red blood cave. My deputy cave master has long known that there is a 5 nights purple flower here. Unfortunately, this 5 nights purple flower can only be plucked when it is ripe. Moreover, it cannot be picked too late. If it is late by 5 nights, this 5 nights purple flower will become useless. Please return it to its rightful owner. Bain says with a smile, a refined and courteous appearance. Bullshit. Ho Fei is already bristling with anger. All the monkey hair on his body stands up. He squawks strangely. What do you mean your cave master has long known that there is a treasure here? If he knew, why didn't he transplant it into the cave? Moreover, this 5 nights purple flower is under the mountain rocks. How did you know? Ho Fei's fiery eyes radiate light in all directions. The aura of his entire body bursts out, unexpectedly suppressing the others. How can Ho Fei possibly remain calm and not get angry when others unexpectedly want to snatch something that he personally plucked? Fuck off, did you hear me? I told you to get the hell out of here. Otherwise, I'll directly smash you into meat patties. Ho Fei stares at the 4 of them and rebukes angrily. His tyrannical aura is very frightening. The aura of a divine beast is no joke. However, Chap and the others are not powerful enough to tell that Ho Fei is a divine beast. Generally, divine beasts are distinguished by their appearances and other characteristics. Ho Fei's fiery-eyed water ape is really too rare. According to Uncle Lon, he is the only one in the entire underwater world of zooists. The others have never seen him before, so naturally they don't know Ho Fei's background. I'm Chap, the Vice Master of the Red Blood Cave. This thing belongs to my red blood cave. Didn't you hear me? Chap's voice rises. His words contain absolute arrogance. Chap. Red blood cave? On one side, Chinyu says with a cold laugh. Chap and the others are top-level figures in the Blood-Red Ridge. Normally, who dares to fight with them? But now these two people in front of them seem to not take them seriously at all. How could a vice cave master and 4 protectors tolerate such humiliation? Attack! Chap suddenly shouts. Kaka, you've come. Before Baiyin and the others can attack, Ho Fei already squawks excitedly and charges at them while brandishing his black stick. What kind of status does Ho Fei have? He is a middle-stage Yuanying divine beast. Of the several people in front of them, the strongest Chap and Baiyin are only middle-stage Yuanying. Ran Ran and Mu Su are only early-stage Yuanying. That Yezhong is only late-stage Jin Dan. Of course, Yezhong's real power is actually a bit stronger than Ran Ran and Mu Su's. A middle-stage Yuanying divine beast is comparable to a Dongshu stage expert. Boom! The black stick cuts through the water current with a tremendous force and smashes loudly on Baiyin's 2 daggers. It even bends the daggers and smashes directly on Baiyin's body. Baiyin vomits a mouthful of blood and is sent flying. Kaka, delightful, delightful. Ho Fei shouts excitedly. Previously, no matter if it was against Qin Yu or the demonic beasts in the inner valley, Ho Fei did not dare to use his full strength for fear of injuring people. At this moment, he has no scruples. Just now, he waved his stick to his heart's content. Chap, Ran Ran, Mu Su and Yezhong's complexion changed greatly. One stick sent Baiyin, a middle-stage Yuanying, flying. Baiyin doesn't even have the strength to resist. Kaka, come again. Ho Fei's eyes brighten. In an instant, his black stick turns into 5 or 6 stick shadows and smashes towards Zhuangzhong. Zhuangzhong utters a loud shout. He stretches out his hand and a huge shield appears. The stick shadows smash onto the shield. With a loud bang, Yezhong's whole body is smashed into the mountain rocks. Stop, stop, it's a misunderstanding, a misunderstanding. Chap shouts loudly. One more time. Ho Fei doesn't care what Chap shouts and smashes his stick again. Qin Yu is also amazed at the speed of Ho Fei's black stick. He only feels that the moment Ho Fei exerts force, the black stick is already in front of him. Its strength and speed have reached a terrifying level. Ho Fei suddenly has a trace of an evil smile at the corner of his mouth. Unexpectedly, when the stick smashes over, he exerts force from his waist and suddenly shakes the black stick. The black stick immediately bends slightly, and then suddenly shakes back and forth in 2 directions. Bang! 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 That stick just happens to be in between Ran Ran and Mu Su. The black stick smashes back and forth on the 2's bodies. The 2's demonic elemental energy is simply unable to withstand that kind of heavy blow, and they are smashed back and forth. Eat Master Ho's stick! Ho Fei suddenly jumps up and exerts all his strength to swing the black stick towards Chap's head. In an instant, Chap transforms into a 100-meter-long huge blood-red aquatic python. However, before he can react, Ho Fei's black stick has already arrived at his head. No, to be exact, the black stick is still a finger away from the blood-red aquatic python's head. Whoosh whoosh! Due to the strong wind caused by its extreme speed, the blood-red aquatic python blinked its red eyes and stared blankly at the black stick that was only a finger's length away from its head. Only then did it come to its senses and hastily transform back into its human form. Chap also knows that the opponent spared his life, or else he would have been smashed to death. I'm Chap. Seeing such an expert like Mr., I'm really unable to restrain my joy. Just now, I was too reckless. Seeing Chap's quick change in attitude, even the grim Qin Yu can't help but reveal a faint smile. Since Chap is acting like this, the other 4 guardians also begin to flatter him. Qin Yu secretly praises Ho Fei in his heart for knowing the severity of the situation. Beating Chap up is one thing, but if he kills him, then Shahon, who is backing him, will have to get involved. Shahon is not only a Dongshu stage expert, but also a blood-red aquatic python. Even Ho Fei is not sure if he can defeat a Dongshu stage blood-red aquatic python. Ho Fei seems to enjoy the other party's flattery very much. Gradually, he even reveals his identity and even calls him brother. Brother Ho Fei, do you have a place to stay in the blood-red ridge? Chap immediately asks after rolling his eyes. Ho Fei says carelessly, "No, I don't. If I did, I wouldn't be wandering around here. I came here with my big brother." There are indeed many Zuyoists in the blood-red ridge, much more than in other places. It's not bad to stay here. Chap immediately says smilingly, in that case, you can stay in my red blood cave. Brother Ho Fei, you're very powerful, so you're more than qualified to be a guardian of my red blood cave. Once you become a guardian, I'll directly assign you 1,000 guards. What do you think? Oh, a guardian? Ho Fei's eyes brighten. He seems to be a bit tempted. He suddenly looks at Chap and says, "This matter depends on my big brother Lu Xing. If he agrees, then I'll agree." In the Zuoist world, power is everything. Seeing Ho Fei's amazing power, Chap naturally wants to rope him in. Now that he hears Ho Fei's words and remembers that just now Qin Yu and the Ran Ran fought each other, he knows that Qin Yu should not be weaker than an ordinary guardian. Therefore, he immediately has a plan. Brother Lu Xing, if you think highly of my red blood cave, please also be a guardian of my red blood cave. What do you think? You and your brother will be free and unfettered together. I guarantee that nobody in this area of 8 million li will dare to provoke you. Chap says confidently. Oh, a guardian? Qin Yu looks at Chap with a faint smile on his face. Chapter 119. In that instant, Qin Yu thought of many things. Was he going to enter the red blood cave and become a protector? Brother Lu Xing. Chap looked at Qin Yu expectantly. Qin Yu glanced at Ho Fei and said indifferently, "Since Vice Cave Master is so sincere, and Fei wants to be a protector, I won't stop him. All right, I agree to this matter." After Qin Yu finished saying those words, he stopped talking. Chap was always a little afraid of Qin Yu, especially Qin Yu's aura, which was like a black hole that could swallow everything. It always made people feel uneasy and tremble. Rather than dealing with Qin Yu, Chap was more willing to deal with Ho Fei. Although Ho Fei was easily angered, he was easy to talk to as long as he had something he liked. "Haha, Brother Ho Fei, Brother Lu Xing, follow me." Chap led the two experts and flew towards the red blood cave. At this moment, Chap was very happy. The great powers of the underwater world were not passed down by their ancestors. They were established through strength. The stronger one was, the higher one's position would be. Chap judged that Ho Fei's strength was definitely comparable to the first protector, Horned Dragon Tang Bai. Chap, Qin Yu, and Ho Fei flew in front, while Baiyin, Ran Ran, Mu Su, and Yezhong flew behind. The 13 protectors were also divided into small groups. Baiyin and the other 3 were a small group. Now that there were 2 new protectors, they had to think about their future. Baiyin, that Lu Xing is easy to deal with. His strength is about the same as mine. But that monkey... Ran Ran said to Baiyin. Baiyin rubbed his chin and pondered for a moment before saying, "Don't provoke that Ho Fei for the time being. That monkey is too strong. Perhaps only Tang Bai can compete with that monkey. As for Lu Xing, that guy." Baiyin's words were full of disdain for Qin Yu. "Don't be too careless. It's better to be careful. That Lu Xing should have practiced a special cultivation method. You can tell from the fact that he doesn't emit even the slightest bit of aura. I think his attack must be very strange. Zhuangzhong reminds him on one side." Mu Su said disdainfully, "Let's not care about them. Let's think about what the Vice Cave Master said. 1,000 protectors, only 5,000 protectors in total. Where did they come from?" Immediately, the other protectors fell silent. Each of the protectors valued the protectors under their control very much. Firstly, the protectors could more or less tell the strength of a person. Secondly, the more subordinates they had, the higher their status would be. Each of the 13 protectors had a different number of protectors. For example, the first protector Horned Dragon Teng Bai. Although he was only one person, he had 1,000 protectors out of the 5,000 protectors. This was strength. It also represented his status. Big brother, I have an urgent matter. Chap stood outside the secret room and shouted. He was a little dissatisfied in his heart. Big brother is too much. He always goes into closed-door training. And when he is in closed-door training, he doesn't allow anyone to disturb him. He doesn't even bring a transmitter. Every time he asked to see Shahon, he had to stand outside the door and shout like this. Along with a series of noises, the stone door was opened. Shahon walked out with a cold face. Seeing Chap, he asked loudly, "Second bro, I just started closed-door training. Why are you making a fuss outside? What's the matter? Tell me quickly." Even though Shahon was angry, since Chap came to see him, it was definitely not a small matter. "Big brother, I invited 2 protectors," Chap said with a mysterious expression, "and one of them is very strong." Shahon's eyes immediately brightened. In the underwater world of Zooyoists, the more protectors the better. For the major powers, they would like to invite as many protectors as they can. After all, protectors have the offensive power of at least Yuanying stage experts. The more protectors they have, the more powerful they will be. Very strong. How strong is he? Shahon was overjoyed in his heart. He had obtained the black jade box. He believed that one day he would be able to stand in opposition to the 3 major forces. However, in order to do so, he needed enough troops and enough experts. The thing he lacked the most right now was a super expert. Me, Bain and the others are a group of 4. There are 5 of us in total. Don't you think we're very strong? But even though we joined hands, we were defeated by that guy in just a short while. We simply didn't have the power to fight back. I feel that guy isn't weaker than Teng Bai, Chap said proudly. He is naturally very happy to have invited such an expert to be his protectors. Not weaker than Teng Bai? A smile appeared on Shahon's face uncontrollably. In the past, Shahon spent a lot of energy to make Teng Bai his protector. Now he has obtained an expert at Teng Bai's level. Chap said smilingly, "Big brother, don't think about it. Come with me. You have to prepare to officially grant them the title of protector and give them the blood-red blood command cards. Only the cave master has the right to grant blood-red blood command cards. After all, Chap is only the vice cave master. Such an important thing as announcing a protector has to be done by the cave master himself. All right, I'll go prepare the blood-red blood command cards. You immediately gather all the protectors and squad leaders in the main hall. I'll be right there." At the moment Shahon is in high spirits. He directly goes to the treasure house in the rear hall. The appointment of protectors is an important thing. Not only the 13 protectors but also some squad leaders have to gather in the main hall. Logically speaking, there should be 50 squad leaders in a squad of 100 guards. However, quite a few members of the squad are chasing after Qin Yu outside. The 2 adjacent courtyards in the eastern part of the Red Blood Cave have become the residences of Qin Yu and Ho Fei in the Red Blood Cave. Each courtyard house has 3 female Zooyoists. These female Zooyoists are very seductive and at the same time very obedient. The 10-odd courtyards in the eastern part share a garden. Qin Yu and Ho Fei are sitting at a stone table on either side of the garden, chatting and laughing with each other. "Congratulations. I am Xiaoming. This is my second brother Ba Jian. This is my third brother Ba Shan. We 3 brothers are also the protectors of the Red Blood Cave." 3 almost identical large men wearing dark blue armor come over and greet Qin Yu and Ho Fei. Ho Fei's eyes brighten. He says with strange laughter, "Black Tortoise? I'm Ho Fei. This is my big brother Lu Xing. You 3 brothers must be very good at defense. When are you going to exchange pointers with me?" The 3 brothers' faces all change color. Ba Ming hurriedly says smilingly, "Brother Ho Fei, we've already heard about how formidable you are. Even that Ya Zhong's heaven-raising armor couldn't resist your attack, so we definitely won't be able to either. You'd better spare us. The 3 Ba brothers are very scoundrels, so they directly admit defeat. Disappointing. Hou Fei is very disappointed. Haha, Ba Ming, you 3 unexpectedly also admit defeat so straightforwardly. This is really rare. But Brother Hou Fei is too powerful, so I can't blame you 3. Bain walks over smilingly from the distance. Ran Ran, Mu Su and Yezhong are with him. The 3 Ba brothers take a look at Bain and snort coldly, but they say nothing. Oh my, there are so many people here today. Who's this handsome man? Is he the guardian who just arrived? 2 enchanting beauties walk over. One of them is dressed in cyan while the other is dressed in red. The cyan-clothed woman says laughingly, I'm Yen Qing. Nice to meet you too. The other red-clothed woman also says charmingly, I'm Shi Yen. Nice to meet you too. Haha, who are you 2 snake girls trying to seduce this time? Ah. Haha. Along with loud laughter, 2 big men walk out one after another. With a sweep of his holy sense, Qin Yu discovers that they are actually 2 tiger sharks. Wu Tong. Wu Feng. The 2 big men immediately introduce themselves. My big brother is Lu Xing. I'm Hou Fei. Hou Fei says casually. He casually counts and says, well, there are 4 Bain's group, 3 black turtles, 2 tiger sharks and 2 beauties. That's a total of 11 people. Who are the other 2? At this time, loud laughter rings out. Wu Tong and Wu Feng, you didn't even wait for me. Haha, I'm late. I'm Sang Mo, nice to meet you too. Sang Mo, who is dressed in a red robe, walks over with a big laugh. Qin Yu, who has been sitting aside, slightly raises his head and casts a cold look at Sang Mo. I'm Lu Xing. Qin Yu stands up, which is rare for him. His eyes are completely focused on Sang Mo. There is an unfathomable smile on his face. Others simply can't understand why Qin Yu is smiling at this moment. The smile on Sang Mo's face stiffens. Just now, when other people came, Qin Yu didn't say a word. Moreover, Qin Yu's whole person gives others a cold feeling. These people unconsciously didn't say anything to Qin Yu. At this moment, seeing Qin Yu and Sang Mo talking, they are a little curious. Sang Mo protector? Qin Yu continues to shout. Sang Mo suddenly wakes up. He stares at Qin Yu a few times and then says with a smile, Brother Lu Xing, when I saw you just now, it was as if I saw an old friend, so I forgot myself. Sang Mo lies without batting an eye. Qin Yu also smiles and then sits down again to drink tea alone. Sang Mo's mind is constantly thinking. Just now, when he saw Qin Yu for the first time, he had a feeling in his heart that he should know this person in front of him. However, no matter how he thinks, he can't think of when he has seen this Lu Xing protector in front of him. This Lu Xing is so strange. If I've seen him before, I definitely won't forget him. However, I've definitely seen him before. Sang Mo is very sure. This is the feeling from the bottom of his heart. There is no doubt at all. At this moment, a middle-aged man in black comes over. Brother Hou Fei, Brother Lu Xing, this is Boss Tang Bai. Boss Tang Bai's strength is very tyrannical. I reckon he's about to reach the Dongshu stage. Yen Qing says with a smile. He even winks at Tang Bai. Tang Bai's whole body has a cold and fierce aura, which makes people unconsciously tremble in fear. Tang Bai looks at Hou Fei. His eyes suddenly brighten and he says, Tang Bai. Tang Bai's aura unexpectedly starts to rise. Tang Bai discovers Hou Fei's extraordinariness at a glance. His fighting spirit also rises in his heart. Will Hou Fei be afraid? Kaka, you're the Tang Bai they've been talking about. Not bad, I'm Hou Fei. Hou Fei laughs. He doesn't care about Tang Bai's aura at all. At the same time, Hou Fei's body also emits a terrifying aura like that of a matchless ferocious beast. Feeling Hou Fei's and Tang Bai's auras, the other protectors all stare at each other. It's over. From today onwards, another super expert has appeared among the protectors. They can only stand aside. Very well, this area is too small. After this matter is over, we'll find a place to fight. Teng Bai says simply. Ho Fei shakes his head. He waves the black stick in his hand twice and says arrogantly, Kaka, no matter when, as long as you come to find me, I'll fight with you. Kaka. Ho Fei's eyes simply don't conceal the excitement in them. Horned dragon, extraordinary talent. A horned dragon at the late Yuanying stage. If I don't enter the berserk state, he'll be enough for me to fight with all my strength. I'm really looking forward to it. Ho Fei thinks to himself. He licks his lips with his scarlet tongue and his eyes glitter. At this time, Sang Mo, who has been thinking, suddenly opens his eyes wide. Xiaxionist, yes, it's that Xiaxionist. Sang Mo suddenly realizes that the feeling this person gives him is similar to the feeling he had with the Xiaxionist in the past. Even though the temperaments of these two people are very different. Sang Mo looks at the current Qin Yu. A thought suddenly occurs to him, what a strange practice method, swallowing all auras. Nobody can tell if he's a Xiaxionist or a Zuoist. After all, he has neither the aura of a Xiaxionist nor a Zuoist. Based on the feeling in his heart, Sang Mo starts to suspect Qin Yu a little. Qin Yu has no aura, so even though he cannot be sure that he is a Xiaxionist, it is also possible that Qin Yu is that Xiaxionist. Brother Lu Xing, Sang Mo walks towards Qin Yu smilingly. Qin Yu slightly raises his eyes, then continues to drink his tea. He simply ignores Sang Mo. As long as I fight with him, I'll definitely be able to tell. No matter how a person changes, the nature of the energy he has been practicing for tens or hundreds of years won't change. Sang Mo is very sure in his heart. If the person in front of him is really that Xiaxionist, the nature of his internal energy will definitely not change even if his appearance and temperament change. Sang Mo says smilingly, Brother Lu Xing is Brother Ho Fei's big brother, so your power must be extraordinary. I, Sang Mo, also want to exchange pointers with you. Is that okay? Qin Yu gives Sang Mo a glance. You? Sang Mo still responds with a smile. Qin Yu suddenly stands up and says coldly, All right, I accept your challenge. Immediately, all of the guardians at the scene start to watch attentively. Sang Mo also says with an expression full of joy, Then Brother Lu Xing, please get into action. Qin Yu's eyes suddenly brightens. Immediately, a black flying sword floats above Qin Yu's head. Seeing Qin Yu have a black flying sword above his head, Sang Mo is slightly disappointed. He remembers that the Xiaxionist he was chasing didn't have a black flying sword. Illusion Development Sword Art's third stance. Phantom Gale. Following Qin Yu's hand seals, the black flying sword immediately flashes and disappears. Everyone only sees several black gusts of wind whizzing past. Sang Mo has no time to dodge at all, and is blown away by the black gusts of wind. Sang Mo's clothes have been completely ripped apart, making him look as if he were naked. His hair is also disheveled. Ha ha. Sang Mo, that place of yours is really white. Ran Ran laughs loudly. Yen Qing covers her mouth and laughs. Sang Mo Protector's place is as thin as a needle. As thin as a needle, waha. Ho Fei holds his stomach and laughs loudly. Everyone else also laughs loudly. You overestimate yourself. After saying this, Qin Yu sits down once more, minding his own business and slowly sipping his tea, completely ignoring Sang Mo's ugly expression. Chapter 120. It's not hot energy, but cold and corrosive energy? Sang Mo is very disappointed, but he can't believe it, because that indescribable feeling in his heart makes him suspect Qin Yu. But in a flash, Sang Mo wakes up from his contemplation. Ah! Seeing himself in such a disgraceful state, and hearing the laughter of the other guardians, Sang Mo's face immediately changes color. Immediately, his demonic elemental energy surges out and wraps around his body. He then uses his agility skill and rushes directly into his courtyard house. Ho Fei points at Sang Mo's courtyard house and laughs out loud. Ha ha! A big man is so white. That's really funny. Oh, right, you just said something about being comparable to a fine needle. What is it? Everybody laughs again. Yen Qing and Shi Yen also cover their mouths and laugh. Not far away, the maids who are waiting for orders also cover their mouths and laugh. At this moment, only Qin Yu is quietly drinking tea, neither laughing nor speaking. Glancing at Sang Mo's courtyard house, the corners of Qin Yu's mouth turn up slightly. How can Qin Yu not understand Sang Mo's thoughts? That day, Qin Yu was prepared to hide his identity, but he had already thought of many problems that could expose his identity. Qin Yu understands that a person's spiritual feelings are the most mysterious. Take Qin Yu and Xiao Hei for example. Although they are very far away from each other, they can still feel each other's feelings. Qin Yu was once worried that Sang Mo might suspect his identity. Therefore, Qin Yu was already prepared. Qin Yu's stellar fire has two sides. After going through a formation, it can be changed into solar fire and lunar fire. Qin Yu's star energy can also change its attribute after going through a formation. Qin Yu uses purple gold to set up a formation restriction on the flaming sword. The power of the stars was nurtured in the flaming sword. As long as it passed through the formation, it would be automatically converted into the energy of the Yi nature. Of course, if Qin Yu wanted to, he could set up the opposite array formation and convert the power of the stars into sun-attributed energy. Haha, all the protectors have gathered here. The cave master has ordered for everyone to gather in the main hall. The appointment of the protectors will begin immediately. Brother Ho Fei and Brother Lu Xing, please prepare yourselves. Where's Sang Mo protector? Chap asked curiously. Yen Qing giggled and said, Sang Mo protector just sparred with protector Lu Xing. He probably couldn't take the blow after losing. Big sister, why don't you go and comfort Sang Mo's broken heart? Shi Yan smiled at Yen Qing. Yen Qing pressed on Shi Yan's forehead and said, If you want to go, why don't you go? I have no interest in Sang Mo. After some noise, the 13 guardians, Qin Yu, and Ho Fei entered the central hall. As Qin Yu walked into the main hall, he couldn't help but sigh in his heart. In terms of size and scale, the main hall of the Red Blood Cave was even bigger than the main hall of the Imperial Palace on the Qianlong continent. Just by looking at the huge golden pillars, one could tell. The Imperial Palace also had golden pillars, but they were made of iron on the inside. These golden pillars, however, were the real deal. With a smile on his face, Shahon strode onto the platform and sat down directly. He looked down at the protectors and more than 20 squad captains below. Greetings, Cave Master. Chap and the 13 guardians immediately bowed. Qin Yu and Ho Fei also followed suit and bowed slightly. As for the 20 or so squad captains behind the crowd, they knelt down on one knee and were very respectful. Shahon waved his hand casually and said, Get up. The 20 squad captains hurriedly got up. In fact, there were 50 squad captains, but most of them went outside to chase after Qin Yu. Where are Lu Xing and Ho Fei? Step forward and let's talk. Shahon said with a smile. At the moment, Shahon's attitude was very good, but the other 13 guardians all knew how cold and merciless Shahon was. Qin Yu and Ho Fei stepped forward. Cave Master, I am Ho Fei. Ho Fei raised his head and looked at Shahon without the slightest bit of respect. Shahon looked at Ho Fei and scanned him with his holy sense. He couldn't help but feel very satisfied. He knew that Ho Fei was an expert comparable to Horned Dragon Teng Bai. However, when he looked at Qin Yu again, he was secretly shocked. Qin Yu's ability to absorb the aura around him was indeed very frightening. I'm Lu Xing, Qin Yu said in a neither servile nor overbearing manner. Lu Xing, what kind of technique have you learned? Why don't you emit any aura? Shahon asked. In fact, Shahon was also a bit suspicious. After all, in terms of the profoundness of mental cultivation methods, Zuyoists are inferior to Xiaxianists and Xiamoists. For a Zuyoist to have such a mysterious technique, this Zuyoist's master is definitely not simple. This is a secret technique of my school. It can't be taught to outsiders. Qin Yu said directly. Qin Yu was also a bit worried, this Shahon's power is extremely high. Now I don't have the aura of a Zuyawist or a Zyuxianist. I don't have any aura at all. If he suspects my identity, it'll be a bit troublesome." Judging from Shahon's expression, Qin simply couldn't tell what Shahon was actually thinking. "Oh, in that case, forget it." Cha Hong's face is still full of smiles. It seems he is not angry at all. He only gives Qin a meaningful look, then takes a look at Sangmo. Qin is slightly frightened in his heart, but there is no change on his face. This Shahon knows what happened just now. Has he guessed something? Qin pondered in his heart. But he was not too nervous because if they couldn't beat him, they could just run away. Moreover, with the divine beast Ho Fei present, it would not be so easy for Shahon to deal with them. "It's really my Red Blood Cave's honor to have you brothers Ho Fei and Lu Xing as my Dharma protectors. This is the Blood Red Blood Order, the Red Blood Cave's Dharma Protectors Medallion. With this medallion, no one within a radius of 8 million li will dare to provoke you." Shahon smilingly took out 2 medallions from his bosom. At this moment, the female attendant next to him took the medallions and walked over to the side of Qin and Ho Fei. "Guardians, please accept this Blood Red Blood Order. From now on, you'll be the 14th and 15th guardians of my Red Blood Cave." Shahon said with a smile. The ranking of the guardians wasn't based on their skills, but on the order of their duties. Qin and Ho Fei immediately accepted the Blood Red Blood Order. "Congratulations, Brother Ho Fei and Brother Lu Xing." Tang Bai was the first to stand up. He glanced at Qin, then focused his gaze on Ho Fei. "Brother Ho Fei, don't forget our agreement just now." "Haha. Don't worry. I'll keep you company any time." Ho Fei didn't care at all. The other 13 guardians also congratulated them. Although some of them were just putting on an act, they still had to put on an act. "Alright, let's talk about the next matter. Everyone knows the rules of my Red Blood Cave. Every guardian has his own personal bodyguard. Now that we have 2 new guardians, Lu Xing and Ho Fei, we'll have to adjust the number of guardians." Shahon said in a clear voice. Everyone in the main hall quieted down immediately. The 13 guardians looked at each other and didn't say anything. This was the most important matter for this gathering in the main hall. The Blood Red Blood Order was just a symbol of status. The personal bodyguard was the most important thing. Everyone was quietly waiting for Shahon's order. "Second brother, announce the personal bodyguards of each guardian." Shahon said indifferently. Chap stepped forward and said, "Ba Ming and the other Black Turtle brothers have 800 bodyguards. Wu Tong and Wu Feng have 600 bodyguards. Sang Mo has 300 bodyguards. Yen Qing and Shi Yen have 600 bodyguards. Baiyin, Ran Ran, Mu Su and Yezhong have 1200 bodyguards. Guardian Ting Bai has 1000 bodyguards. The remaining 500 bodyguards are under my direct command. In fact, Vice Masters and Cave Masters don't need bodyguards. Because as long as they have the Blood Red Blood Order, they can mobilize bodyguards at will. Although those bodyguards are directly under the Guardians, Vice Masters and Cave Masters have the right to mobilize them." "Big brother, how do you think we should distribute them?" Chap said respectfully. In the main hall, the 13 guardians listened carefully to Shahon's order. Qin and Ho Fei also listened carefully. Although they didn't care too much, the number of bodyguards would determine their status in the Red Blood Cave in the future. These bodyguards would listen to their orders and be at their disposal. Chap said 1000 bodyguards last time. Let's see how they can squeeze out 1000 bodyguards. Qin scanned with his holy sense. Everyone's expression was under Qin control. Except for Tang Bai, who didn't care too much, the others seemed to be very nervous. "Second brother, I remember that after third brother died, his 500 bodyguards were distributed to the guardians. How were they distributed at that time?" Shahon asked. Chap thought for a while, then said, "After third brother died, among the 500 bodyguards, 100 were given to Wu Tong and Wu Feng, 100 were given to Yen Qing and her sister, and the remaining 300 were given to Baiyin and the other 3. Hearing this, Everybody understood a little bit. It seems that the extra bodyguards they got at that time are going to be spat out. Yan Qing and her sister, Wu Feng, Wu Tong and Bai Yin all had ugly expressions on their faces. In order to get these bodyguards, they negotiated with the others and made a lot of losses to get them. If they were to be taken back now, their losses would be in vain. A faint smile appeared on Qin Yu's face. He also guessed Shahon's idea. All right, take back those 500 bodyguards and add your 500 bodyguards to the total of 1,000 bodyguards. These 1,000 bodyguards will be jointly managed by the two guardians, Hou Fei and Lu Xing. Does anybody have any objections? Shahon scanned the crowd. What else could the 13 guardians say? Naturally, they accepted the order. Very good. Then let's make arrangements for those 1,000 bodyguards after everybody goes back. Shahon said with a smile. Right at this moment, a squad leader ran in from outside. With a panicked expression, he said, Cave Master, something bad has happened. Dead, they're all dead. Don't be so flustered. Tell me clearly. Cha Hong shouted coldly. However, Cha Hong's complexion had already turned ashen. When he heard, dead, they're all dead, he had a bad premonition. His Highness protectors also had a bad premonition. Everyone turned to look at the captain of the guard squad. The squad leader took a deep breath then said, Cave Master, when we received your order to go out and hunt down that black eagle, all the Zuyoists within a radius of 8 million li naturally became our eyes and ears. Very soon, we discovered that black eagle. Hearing this, Qin Yu's heart jumped. Hunt down the black eagle? They want to hunt down Xiao He? Qin Yu ponders extremely fast in his mind. Why do they want to hunt down Xiao He? Logically, both Sang Yimou and Shahon should be hunting me down. Suddenly, Qin Yu has a flash of inspiration and understands the matter. Qin Yu gives a forced smile in his heart. Xiao He was definitely hunted down because of him. Sang Yimou knows about the relationship between him and Xiao He, so he definitely wants to hunt down Xiao He to lure him out. Tell me, what happened after you discovered the black eagle? Shouts Shahon with an ashen face. The squad leader swallowed his saliva then continued. Afterwards, 50 members of my squad and several 10 Zuyoists in the vicinity joined hands to hunt down that black eagle. Who could have thought? Who could have thought that the black eagle was really too terrifying, too terrifying? The leader of that 50-member squad was the vice-captain of my squad. Before he died, he only had time to send me a message, Hey Guang, they're all dead. Half a day later, I received messages from some Zuyoists who found their corpses, telling me that the squad and several 10 Zuyoists were all dead. None of them survived. At the moment, the squad leader finds it somewhat hard to believe. The entire main hall immediately becomes oppressive. For so many years, nobody in the Red Blood Cave territory has dared to kill the guards of the Red Blood Cave so arrogantly. Those powerful experts of the Yuanying stage also know the severity of the matter. Once they kill the guards, they will offend Shahon and the result will be disastrous. Qin Yu, however, lets out a sigh of relief in his heart. Luckily, Xiao He is all right. Chap takes a step forward and says, Big brother, that black eagle was very powerful. It probably had the attack power of a middle Yuanying stage expert. Those gods were not strong enough, so there was nothing we could do even if they were killed. To deal with that black eagle, we had to send out the guardians. Shahon also nods. Indeed, at this moment, they have no choice but to send out the guardians. The guardians exist precisely to deal with those experts. This time we lost some guards. When this matter is over, we'll recruit 250 more guards. 50 of them will be added to the squad and the other 200 will be rewarded for capturing the Black Eagle. There are hints of killing intent in Shahon's eyes. Daring to kill his guards, Shahon's killing intent has been aroused in his heart. Your subordinate is willing to go. Baiyin takes a step forward and says. This Baiyin is a middle Yuanying stage expert, similar in power to Chap. He knows that Chap has defeated the Black Eagle before, so he naturally has confidence in himself. Moreover, he is not alone. Ran Ran, Mu Su, and Yezhong also say, your subordinate is willing to go. Qin Yu immediately starts to feel anxious. Baiyin and the others cannot withstand a single blow from Hou Fei, but the strength of Baiyin and the others is definitely not to be underestimated. When Qin Yu fought with Ran Ran, he determined that the Ran Ran strength is similar to his own. Baiyin has reached the middle Yuanying stage. Is Xiao He confident? With 4 experts besieging him, does Xiao He have a chance? Cave Master. Sangamo actually takes a step forward and says, Cave Master has allocated 1,000 guards to Enforcer Hou Fei, and Enforcer Lu Xing. Enforcer Hou Fei is strong, so no one has any objections. However, it is hard to say how strong Enforcer Lu Xing is. I think Enforcer Lu Xing should take this opportunity to capture that Black Eagle and display his strength. Sangamo says while looking at Qin Yu with a smile. Humph, I want to see how you will deal with this. If you want to save that Black Eagle, you will probably have to betray Cave Master. At that time, you can just wait for your death. If you listen to Cave Master's orders, you can watch that Black Eagle die. I want to see how you choose. Unless you are not that immortal cultivator. Choose? Does Qin Yu even need to choose? Sangamo, you bastard, you are courting death. Hou Fei's fiery eyes flash, and his entire body emits a terrifying aura of a beast. The black stick in his hand is directly taken out, as if he wants to kill Sangamo on the spot. Your subordinate is willing to go. Qin Yu takes a step forward and says with a smile, then glances at Sangamo, I will do as Sangamo Protector says and capture that Black Eagle to display my strength. Chapter 121. Sangmo's pupils contracted slightly. Clearly, Sangamo was surprised at how easily Qin Yu had accepted the mission. But after pondering for a moment, Sangamo came to a conclusion. Lu Xing? I want to see if you'll really go kill Blackhawk. There were 2 possible outcomes for Qin Yu to accept this mission. The first was that Qin Yu killed Blackhawk, and then Sangamo would have no choice. The second was that Qin Yu suddenly changed sides and killed the other protectors. If it was the second outcome, even if Sangamo didn't have any proof that this protector Lu Xing was the immortal cultivator, Sangamo still wouldn't be able to prove it. He could also use the crime of betrayal to have Shahon execute Qin Yu. Heh. Hou Fei let out a series of strange sounds, his entire body emanating the aura of a savage beast. He stared fixedly at Sangamo, and then suddenly looked towards Qin Yu and said, Big brother, if that bastard Sangamo tells you to go, then go. Damn it, who the hell does this Sangamo think he is? I'll smash him flat with a single blow of my staff. And then Hou Fei looked towards Shahon, raising his head and saying, Cave Master, the Marquis is giving face to Brother Chap by being a protector. 1,000 guards? Based on my abilities alone, the Marquis is qualified to have them. Can't Big Brother and I jointly control 1,000 guards? What's the point of showing off our abilities? If you, Cave Master, feel that my Big Brother isn't capable, Kaka, how about this? Big Brother and I will immediately leave. I don't care about being a protector. Hou Fei didn't seem to care at all. He then turned his head and didn't look at Shahon at all. Instead, he looked towards Chap, saying sincerely, Brother Chap, it's not that I, Hou Fei, don't want to give you face. It's just that I can't stand this vexation. Chap hurriedly said, Brother Hou Fei, don't be impatient. I know you have a straightforward temper. Big Brother hasn't said anything yet, has he? Shahon frowned slightly and looked at Qin Yu. Qin Yu first looked at Hou Fei and said, Fei, don't be anxious. Wasn't it just to hunt down a black eagle? Since we have become the guardians of the Red Blood Cave, we have to do something practical. Otherwise, I'll feel bad if I don't do anything when I'm a guardian. With that, Qin Yu glanced at Sangmo. Sangmo looked at Qin Yu with a smile and said, Enforcer Lu Xing is so eager to serve Cave Master. We should also learn from Enforcer Lu Xing's loyalty. Shut up, no one asked you to speak. Damn it, I just don't like you. Hou Fei's fiery eyes flickered with an ominous glint. The black stick in his hand looked like it was ready to strike at any moment. Sangmo's expression changed slightly when he heard this, but he didn't dare to say anything. Qin Yu looked at Shahon and said, "Cave Master, this matter is settled. This subordinate will definitely capture that black eagle for Cave Master." Ho Fei glared at Sangamo and didn't say anything else. Haha. Good. Enforcer Lu Xing is so loyal. This Cave Master is really happy. Baiyin, Ran Ran, Mu Su, Ye Zheng, and Lu Xing, the 5 enforcers, listen up. Shahon's voice suddenly became dignified and loud. Baiyin and the other 3, as well as Qin Yu, immediately bowed and obeyed. This Cave Master orders the 5 of you to set out together in half a day. You must capture that black eagle. At this critical moment, you must not hesitate to kill it. Shahon said sternly, his voice filled with killing intent. Killing 50 guards, this already made Shahon extremely angry. Qin Yu, Baiyin, Ran Ran, Mu Su, and Ye Zheng bowed and said in unison, "This subordinate obeys." Shahon ordered them to set out in half a day to give them half a day to prepare. Qin Yu and Ho Fei directly returned to their own residences. Baiyin and the other 3 also returned to their own residences. However, the 4 of them didn't return to their own courtyards, but gathered in Baiyin's courtyard. Outside each courtyard in the eastern district of the Red Blood Cave, beautiful maids were shuttling through the corridors with various kinds of food. Sang Mo, who was dressed in a red robe, didn't return to his own courtyard. Instead, he walked towards Baiyin's courtyard. When a maid dressed in green saw Sang Mo, she hurriedly stood at the side of the corridor and said respectfully, "Enforcer." Sang Mo snorted. He didn't even look at the maid and directly walked towards Baiyin's courtyard. In Baiyin's courtyard, Baiyin, Ran Ran, and the other 3 were gathered here. They were laughing and chatting with each other when they saw Sang Mo walk in. Among the 4, Mu Su snorted coldly. He seemed to have an unfriendly expression. "Sang Mo greets all of you." Sang Mo cupped his hands and said to the 4. Baiyin still had a smile on his face. Ran Ran and Ye Zheng didn't seem to care at all. However, Mu Su sneered and said, "Great clan leader Sang Mo, what kind of auspicious day is it today? You actually came to our place. It really makes me very nervous." Among the 13 enforcers, Mu Su and Sang Mo's original bodies were octopuses. However, Sang Mo belonged to the Sang clan of the octopuses, while Mu Su belonged to the Mu clan of the octopuses. The 2 clans were vying for the position of the number 1 clan of the octopuses. The enmity between them had been going on for a long time. Sang Mo's chest was filled with anger. However, Sang Mo immediately suppressed his anger. "Clan leader Mu Su, I came here because of your life and death. If you don't care about your own life and the lives of the other 3 enforcers, then I'll leave." Sang Mo finished and looked at the other enforcers. Mu Su laughed sinisterly and said, "Oh, life and death? Listening to your words, it seems that you're doing this for our own good. You want us to keep our lives. When did you become so nice, Sang Mo?" "In my impression, you can't wait for us to die." "Shut up. I can't wait for you to die, not the other enforcers." Sang Mo's eyes flashed coldly. "If it weren't for the other 3 enforcers going with us this time, why would I tell you this big secret?" "Big secret? Humph." Mu Su sneered. But Baiyin frowned. He had heard Sang Mo say, "If it weren't for the other 3 enforcers going with us this time." From these words, he deduced that Sang Mo had most likely come for the sake of capturing the Black Hawk. If one had to say, who was the most familiar with that immortal practitioner and that Black Hawk? Without a doubt, it was Sang Mo. Perhaps this Sang Mo really does know some secrets. Baiyin's heart was moved. He immediately said in a clear voice, "Mu Su, since Sang Mo Protector is willing to come here, we can't be rude." As soon as Baiyin's words came out, Mu Su snorted coldly, then stood to one side, no longer speaking to Sang Mo. Baiyin was the leader of the 4 of them, and also the most powerful of them all. As for his shrewdness, they all admired him. Baiyin looked at Sang Mo, smiling. "Sang Mo Protector, what do you mean by your words? What secret is it that concerns our lives? Let's talk inside." Sangamo walked directly into a room. Bain paused momentarily, then followed him into the room. At the same time, Bain very tactfully set up a restrictive spell, preventing outsiders from investigating. Sangamo, what secret do you have? Speak. Sangamo stood in the center of the room, his back facing Bain. When he sensed that Bain had set up a restrictive spell, he turned to look at Bain with satisfaction. He slowly said, "That Lu Xing who just arrived, although I'm not very sure, is very likely to be that immortal cultivator. I'm sure you understand what I mean." Bain's face changed. His first reaction upon hearing these words was to think that Sangamo was lying to him. But then he thought, what was the point of Sangamo lying to him? After thinking carefully, and considering that Lu Xing didn't emit any aura at all, perhaps he really was an immortal cultivator. If what Sangamo said was true, then Bain's back was covered in cold sweat. The immortal cultivator was in cahoots with the Black Hawk. If Qin Yu suddenly attacked them when the 5 protectors were attacking the Black Hawk, given that they were unprepared, 2 of them would die in an instant. Given the Black Hawk's and Qin Yu's power, it was really possible that all 4 of them would die. Protector Bain, this is just a reminder. I'm not very sure myself, but I believe you have your own plans. Sangamo said with a smile, then directly removed the restrictive spell, walked past Bain, and left the room. Sangamo was very certain of Bain's character. As long as there was the slightest suspicion, the slightest danger, this Bain would definitely be fully prepared. Bain's face was gloomy, and his expression changed several times in an instant. Then he turned to look at Sangamo, who had disappeared at the gate of the courtyard. A hint of a smile appeared at the corner of Bain's mouth. He had already made his decision. Undercurrents were surging at the bottom of the sea. Qin Yu, dressed in a black robe, was traveling extremely fast on his black flying sword. Bain, Ran, Mu Su and Yezhong were also using their own methods to travel extremely fast on the bottom of the sea. The 5 experts were traveling side by side. Ordinary Zuioists would have avoided them long ago. This time the Red Blood Cave ordered the Green-Eyed Fish Clan's people to help monitor the Black Hawk's tracks. The Red Blood Cave was not Sangamo originally. When Sangamo invited 30 people of the Green-Eyed Fish Clan, he had to pay them. However, the Red Blood Cave ordered several hundred people of the Green-Eyed Fish Clan to start monitoring the Black Hawk together. Several hundred people monitoring the Black Hawk together was enough to cover an area of 1,000,000 li. Protector Lu Xing, what do you think we should do if we run into the Black Hawk? After all, there are 5 of us, so we should make a good plan. Bain flew close to Qin Yu and said smilingly at the same time. Ran, Mu Su and Yezhong also slightly moved closer to Qin Yu to listen to him. Qin Yu took a look at Bain. His gaze seemed to penetrate Bain's soul. Bain's heart couldn't help but tremble. He couldn't help being even more vigilant against this Qin Yu. Bain didn't know that Qin Yu practiced Shoma's secret techniques. His use of soul force was simply incomparable to that of ordinary Xiationists who only knew how to use soul force. Among the Devil Path secret techniques that used soul power, several of them had to be used through the eyes. In an instant, Qin Yu withdrew his gaze and said indifferently, "Protector Bain, since you already have a plan, why do you need to ask me? Among the 5 of us, Protector Bain's strength is the highest. This encirclement will be led by Protector Bain. Protector Bain only needs to give the order and I will follow it." Bain smiled. "In that case, I will say it." Qin Yu looked at Bain. He wanted to see how this Bain was going to deal with Xiao He. Once we discover the Black Hawk, Protector Lu Xing, Ran and Mu Su will join forces to attack. I think the 3 of you will be able to contend against the Black Hawk. Since I am the strongest, I will take the opportunity to launch a sneak attack and deal the final blow. If I can capture it, I will capture it. If I can't, I will directly kill the Black Hawk. As for Yezhong, as a backup, I will always guard against the unknown. Bain glanced at them and said with a smile, "Everyone, do you agree with this plan? Feel free to say it." Mu Su and Ran looked at each other, then nodded. They had also heard from Shigon about the Black Hawk's strength. Not to mention the three of them joining forces, even if the Black Hawk wanted to kill them, it would not be that easy. Yezhong had no objections. He was naturally happy not to take action. Where is Protector Lu Xing? Baiyin looked at Qin Yu. Qin Yu also nodded. Henceforth, the plan was considered to have been approved. At this moment, Yezhong, who was slightly behind the crowd, glanced at Qin Yu and then at Baiyin. A trace of coldness flashed in his eyes, but it disappeared in an instant. He returned to his honest and good-natured self. Not long after Qin Yu's group of 5 left the Red Blood Cave, Sang Mo also left the cave alone and directly followed in the direction of Qin Yu's group. Lu Xing, I'd like to see your true face. A person with such a strange technique like yours is unexpectedly not famous in the past. What a coincidence, that Xiaoxianist has disappeared. Sangamo won't give up until he has carefully investigated Lu Xing Baiyin, that guy. If he finds out Lu Xing's true identity, he must give me a chance to hit him when he is down. Sang-Mo smiled sinisterly, turned into a red light and directly chased. Sang-Mo had given the Green-Eyed Fish Clan benefits. When the Green-Eyed Fish Clan told Baiyin and the others about the Black Hawk's whereabouts, they also told Sang-Mo. Qin Yu kept flying. He could feel that everybody was getting closer and closer to Xiao He. This Green-Eyed Fish Clan is really hateful. Xiao He can't take human form. If he takes human form, he'll be about the same as other Zuyoists. Those Green-Eyed Fish Clan will probably find it very hard to find him. But his Black Hawk appearance is really too easy to distinguish. It's very hard to find a Black Hawk at the bottom of the sea. Qin Yu felt very helpless in his heart. This time, the whole Green-Eyed Fish Clan was monitoring. Xiao He basically could not escape from the monitoring of those fishes. Suddenly, Qin Yu's face slightly changed color. No good, Xiao He is unexpectedly rushing towards me. Qin Yu clearly felt that Xiao He was unexpectedly flying extremely fast towards him. Xiao He should also have sensed that he was flying towards him. Xiao He thought that Qin Yu was looking for him, so he also flew towards Qin Yu. In this way, he met Xiao He even earlier. After a short while, Baiyin said with a clear laugh, "The Green-Eyed Fish Clan sent a message. That Black Hawk is unexpectedly flying in our direction. Haha, there's no door to hell, but he still has to barge in. Protectors, make your preparations. This Black Eagle is not that easy to kill. We want to kill him, but he can't wait. We also don't need to be soft-hearted." Ran Ran, whose face was half black and half white, said with a sinister laugh. Baiyin, Yezhong and Mu Su also burst into loud laughter as if they were not worried about killing Xiao He at all. Baiyin glanced at Qin Yu out of the corner of his eyes, then looked at his 3 brothers. Chapter 122. As the 5 guardians fly, they get closer and closer to the Black Eagle. The distance between the Black Eagle and Qin Yu's group is something that Baiyin and the other 3 guardians can only barely judge based on the information they got from the Green-Eyed Fish Clan. They are simply unable to judge accurately. However, Qin Yu can clearly sense Xiao He's position. Now I can only rely on my holy sense to notify Xiao He in advance because the range of my holy sense is larger than theirs. Qin Yu's holy sense spreads out. After 3 years of practicing in the valley, Qin Yu's soul has been continuously nourished by Lu Xing's tears. Now it has already reached the peak of the late Yuanying stage. It is strange that when Qin Yu was in the valley, the heat released by Lu Xing's tears was 2 to 3 times stronger than outside. Now that Qin Yu has left the valley, the heat released by Lu Xing's tears has slowed down. Qin Yu cannot figure out why this is happening. The water current is very rapid and shoals of fish are moving about extremely fast like 5 rays of light. The Green-Eyed Fish Clan has sent a message saying that the Black Eagle is only 2,000 li away from us. Now we can encounter it at any time. Everybody stop. We'll wait here and get ready to give that Black Eagle a blow at any time. As soon as Baiyin's voice rises, the other 4 guardians all stop. The place where Qin Yu and the others were currently at was completely a vast ocean. There was no obstruction at all. It should be known that this boundless ocean is normally over 10 kilometers deep. Generally, Zuoist palaces are built on some underwater mountain ranges because it is very difficult to build palaces in places that are too deep. However, 10 kilometers deep is nothing. In this boundless ocean, some underwater abysses are even 100 kilometers deep or even deeper. At those depths, the water pressure alone has reached a terrifying level. Qin Yu does not have enough power to go down. Of course, at those depths, there will be even more treasures. But if he wants to collect treasures, he must have enough power to go down. Protector Lu Xing, Ran Ran, and Mu Su, the three of you should prepare yourselves. The three of you will be facing the Black Eagle head-on. I, on the other hand, am preparing to launch a sneak attack and deal a fatal blow, Baiyin said directly to Qin Yu and the others. As for Qin Yu, he was pondering about his sneak attack. Among the four of them, Baiyin is the strongest. It's best to kill him first. The Ran Ran was sinister and cunning. Mu Su was arrogant, but he was not a threat. Then Yezhong. Qin Yu glanced at Yezhong. In fact, Qin Yu had always been wary of this seemingly honest person. Yezhong was only at the late stage of Jin Dan, but he became a protector. In terms of attack power, even Ran Ran and Mu Su were not confident of defeating him. Baiyin is at the mid-stage of Yuanying, while Ran Ran and Mu Su are at the early stage of Yuanying. Sneak attacks are the strongest. Let's get rid of the strong one first, then join forces with Xiao He, it will be easier. Qin Yu glanced at Baiyin, then flew over. Seeing Qin Yu fly over, Baiyin immediately became vigilant. Baiyin's body flashed, and a silver-white battle armor appeared on Baiyin's body. At the same time, streams of demonic elemental energy flowed on Baiyin's body. Baiyin said loudly, "Although the five of us are attacking one person together, we must be careful. Everyone must ensure their own safety." Baiyin smiled and looked at Qin Yu. "Protector Lu Xing, are you so confident that you don't need to protect yourself?" Qin Yu's heart was filled with hatred. He did not know whether this Baiyin was intentional or not. However, if this was the case, it would be much more difficult to kill Baiyin with a sneak attack. Could it be that Baiyin is suspicious of me? Qin Yu's heart shook. If this was true, then the situation would be terrible. At the very least, Baiyin would be wary of him. If he wanted to kill Baiyin with a sneak attack, it would be much more difficult. Qin Yu pondered in his mind. In the end, he said coldly, "Protect yourself? Protector Baiyin doesn't need to worry about this." Qin Yu glanced at the other three people. Yezhong was also wearing a huge suit of armor on his back, but Ran Ran and Mu Su were not wearing any. Qin Yu only needed to think for a while to understand completely. Yezhong's true form was a giant crab and Baiyin's true form was a silver-shelled shrimp. Their battle armors were innately made. It should be known that to make defensive holy weapons, firstly, many types of ores are needed and secondly, it is very difficult. For Zuoists, making battle armors is really very difficult. In general, Zuoists are born with battle armors. Ran Ran was a black-ringed anaconda and Mu Su was an octopus, so they were not born with battle armor. Therefore, at the moment they were only using demonic elemental energy to protect themselves at most. Alright, let's kill Ran Ran and Mu Su first. Even though Baiyin is hard to deal with, it shouldn't be a problem for us to deal with the remaining two if we join forces with Xiao He. Qin Yu calculated in his mind. At the same time, he pretended to be ready together with Ran Ran and Mu Su. Qin Yu, Ran Ran and Mu Su stood side by side. As soon as they saw the Black Eagle, the three of them would definitely rush up and attack it from all sides. Baiyin, don't tell me we're going to let Mu Su throw away his life? Ran Ran said to Baiyin through holy sense communication. Baiyin's face did not change in the slightest, but he replied through holy sense communication, "Mu Su is arrogant but he's not very scheming. If we tell him this information, he'll definitely divulge it. But you, Ran Ran, are different. You're very sinister and ruthless, so your attitude towards everyone can't be considered good. Even if you don't treat Lu Xing well, Lu Xing won't suspect anything." Hearing Baiyin say that she is sinister and ruthless, the Ran Ran actually feels happy in her heart. Humph, humph. Let's see whether that Lu Xing is a Xiaoxianist or not. Poor Mu Su, Ran Ran said through holy sense communication. Even though she said that, in fact the Ran Ran did not care about Mu Su's life at all. Xiao He was flying towards the northwest at top speed. He had not seen Qin Yu for a long time. At this moment, he could clearly feel Qin Yu's existence and was only a few hundred li away from him. Just as Xiao He was feeling excited in his heart. Xiao He, stop. Qin Yu's voice rang out in Xiao He's mind through holy sense. Hearing the familiar voice, Xiao He did not hesitate at all and immediately stopped. However, at this moment, Qin Yu was nearly 100 li away from Xiao He. Qin Yu could send a message to Xiao He through holy sense communication, but Xiao He could not send a message to Qin Yu. Xiao He, at this moment, there are 4 red blood cave protectors who are preparing to rob and kill you. I'm also among them. Remember, immediately rush to the west 10 meters away from me with all your strength. When you see the man in white armor, kill him for me. Remember, rush with all your strength. You must catch them off guard. After Qin Yu finished speaking, Xiao He completely understood. The energy in Xiao He's body surged, and then blood-red lightning flowed on his wings. With a shake of his wings, Xiao He immediately turned into a blood-red lightning, flashing and disappearing in the northwest direction. His speed was simply appalling. The 5 protectors carefully covered their surroundings with their holy sense and were ready to take action at any time. Qin Yu, Ran Ran, and Mu Su were at the forefront, Baiyin was 10 meters away from them, and Yezhong was at the back. The 5 protectors did not say a word to each other, because everyone knew that at this moment, the Black Eagle could appear at any time. Coming! Baiyin's voice sounded in their minds through his holy sense. He had reached the middle stage of yuanying, so his holy sense was stronger than the others. However, Baiyin did not know how powerful Qin Yu's holy sense was. As soon as Baiyin's voice sounded in their minds, everyone's holy sense found a blood-red light rushing directly toward them at an extremely fast speed. The speed was so fast that everyone felt a chill in their hearts. Speed was also an indication of strength in one aspect. Qin Yu, Ran Ran, and Mu Su rushed toward the blood-red light almost at the same time. When Baiyin saw this scene, a smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. However, in just a moment, the smile on his face froze, because when the blood-red light saw the 3 figures rushing toward it, it turned at an extremely fast speed and attacked Baiyin instead. Besiege it! Baiyin's voice sounded in their minds at the same time through his holy sense. Ran Ran, Qin Yu, and Mu Su, who were originally rushing toward the blood-red light, had been shaken off by the blood-red light. The Black Eagle was so fast that Qin Yu and the other 2 could not stop it at all. The 3 of them immediately turned and rushed toward the Black Eagle again. At this moment, Qin Yu, Mu Su, and Ran Ran rushed toward the Black Eagle side by side, while the Black Eagle rushed toward Baiyin. Yezhong was still behind Baiyin. This was the situation at that time. Logically speaking, the 5 of them should besiege the Black Eagle. However, at this moment, the situation changed because Qin Yu finally made a move. Puff! The flaming gloves appeared on Qin Yu's hands almost instantly. Qin Yu's left hand directly pierced Mu Su's chest, directly crushing Mu Su's heart. Mu Su, who was unprepared, could not defend against Qin Yu's flaming gloves with his little bit of demonic elemental energy defense. Qin Yu's right hand pierced Ran Ran's back like a sharp arrow. Bang! Ran Ran's hand blocked it as if she had foreseen it. However, Qin Yu's terrifying strength and the power of the flaming gloves were beyond Ran Ran's imagination. Ran Ran's hand was directly broken with a crack, but Ran Ran borrowed the force to retreat. Oh no! Qin Yu's face changed. Mu Su, whose heart was crushed, stared blankly at Qin Yu with a face full of disbelief. You. Before he could say a word, Mu Su's soul began to be sucked into the cycle of reincarnation. Unfortunately, this Mu Su had not yet reached the Dongshu stage. Once he reached the Dongshu stage, his soul could be integrated into the yuanying. Lu Xing is that cultivator. Ran Ran, whose arm was broken, screamed. At this moment, the Ran Ran's eyes were full of resentment. The arm was broken, and even the bones were completely shattered. It could never be regenerated, unless the Ran could pass the 9-inch heaven tribulation and ascend to the upper realm. Bain had been preparing for a long time to attack with all his strength. Originally, it was to kill Black Eagle. Now, facing Black Eagle's attack, he could only attack openly. Black Eagle's sharp claws collided with his two sharp blades. Pang! The fierce collision did not injure Black Eagle at all, but Bain was forced to retreat. Kill Lu Xing! Bain screamed loudly, but Yezhong, who was at the back, shouted angrily, Lu Xing, so you are that cultivator. Ran Protector, let's kill him together. Protector Bain, block that Black Eagle. Bain knew Qin Yu's strength, and he also knew the strength of Yezhong and the Ran. He immediately agreed to this proposal. However, at this moment, Bain's hand, which was hidden behind his back, appeared a transmission token. Almost instantly, the transmission token disappeared again. Sangamo, that guy hates cultivators the most. Leave it to him. Bain had a hint of a cold smile on his face. He was very fast. Bain's hand was hidden behind his back, so Qin Yu and Black Eagle did not notice. But Yezhong saw it. Bain's body flashed with light, and he suddenly transformed into a 10-meter-long silver prawn. The prawn's shell looked like a rock, and a terrifying aura surged from the prawn's body. With a shake of the prawn's tail, the silver prawn arrived next to Black Eagle. Two enormous pincers pierced towards Black Eagle at high speed. Bain attacked Black Eagle, while Yezhong and the Ran simultaneously attacked Qin Yu. Qin Yu's flaming sword immediately appeared. Qin Yu formed a sword seal and was about to use the illusion development sword art. But at this moment, two scenes happened at almost the same time, leaving Qin Yu dumbfounded. The first scene. Bang! With a boom, Yezhong's right fist unexpectedly hit the nearby Ran's head. Immediately, Ran's head burst open like a watermelon, and red and white matter splashed out. Yezhong smiled at Qin Yu and said, Protector Lu Xing, this is a gift for surrendering. The second scene. The mid-stage Yuanying silver-shelled prawn's pincers were very powerful and extremely fast. But facing the silver-shelled prawn's attack, Xiao Hei flapped his wings and dodged it. The silver-shelled prawn immediately attacked again. However, an ear-piercing shriek came from Xiao Hei's mouth. At the same time, Qin Yu clearly felt Xiao Hei's aura suddenly surged. Facing the silver-shelled prawn's two huge pincers, Xiao Hei turned into a black light and rushed directly at the silver-shelled prawn. At the same time, his two ice-cold black eagle claws grew 10 times larger in an instant, turning into a pair of blood-red eagle claws. Pooh! Pooh! Like breaking tofu, the mid-stage Yuanying silver-shelled prawn's head was directly crushed by Xiao Hei's claw, and it died on the spot. These two scenes happened almost at the same time, and Qin Yu was amazed. Xiao Hei, when did you become so powerful? Qin Yu looked at Xiao Hei in disbelief. Just now, those blood-red claws had grown 10 times larger, and they were terrifyingly murderous. Their sharpness had also reached a terrifying level. All of a sudden, they directly tore apart the mid-stage Yuanying silver-shelled prawn's defense. With a sweep of his spiritual sense, Qin Yu found that Xiao Hei had already reached the early stage of Yuanying. 3 years ago, I was already at the late stage of Jin Dan. Last time I returned to the valley, I had already reached the peak of Jin Dan. I just recently broke through. Moreover, I can also learn many secret skills from my memory. Just now, I also just learned that move. Xiao Hei said with a mischievous smile. Although he was only at the early stage of Yuanying, he had inherited memories and practiced forbidden techniques. His actual attacking power was very terrifying. Chapter 123. Sang Mo, who was in the middle of flying, suddenly stops. He immediately takes out the transmitter and scans it with his spiritual sense. His expression instantly turns sluggish. However, after a short while, Sang Mo's facial muscles start to twitch. His eyes flash with an ominous glint. Ha ha! Sangamo starts to laugh maniacally. His voice is as crazy as a crow's shriek. Sangamo restrains his laughter. His eyes are filled with killing intent and extreme excitement. Lu Xing, as I expected, you are that Xiaxionist. Haha, the heavens are helping me. You killed my son, massacred my clansmen, and made me lose face in front of the protectors. Now that I know you betrayed the cave master, if I don't destroy your soul, how can I continue to live? With a sinister smile, Sangamo rolls up his red robe and his entire body turns into a red light. He changes direction and rushes towards the red blood cave. Times from the appearance of the Black Eagle to Bain's death, only a short period of time has passed. During this period of time, Bain, Ran, and Mu Su were all killed. However, that Yezhong turned traitor and killed Ran instead. This is really shocking. Big brother, after reaching the Yuanying stage, my strength has increased by several times. Killing a mid-stage Yuanying brat is as easy as flipping my hand. I even have some confidence against an early-stage Dongshu stage expert. Kuro says proudly while flapping his wings. Qin Yu is shocked. Haha, Xiaohei, you said you are at the early-stage Dongshu stage. Don't brag. Do you think you are a divine beast? Qin Yu says with a laugh. Hei Yu, on the other hand, was enraged. He angrily said, What do you know? This is my secret. You see, as my power increases, my transformation will also be great. When I went through that forbidden technique, I suffered so much pain. Do you think I suffered for nothing? Qin Yu is very clear. According to what he said, Xiaohei needs to undergo 9 heaven tribulation to completely transform into a human. Normally, only divine beasts would need to do this. However, if Xiaohei was a divine beast, why was he slightly weaker than Chago, who was in the middle stage of Yuanying, when he reached the late stage of Jindan and used the forbidden technique 3 years ago? Qin Yu couldn't figure this out. He always felt that Xiaohei was weaker than the mythological beasts. Qin Yu and Xiaohei communicated with each other using their spiritual senses, while Yezhong remained motionless. Xiaohei, how do you think we should deal with this guy? Qin Yu deliberately asked while looking at Yezhong. Kuro also turned around and looked at Yezhong. A green light flickered in his eyes, and an evil aura pressed down on Yezhong. Yezhong is the first to speak. Protector Lu Xing, I know that with Senior Black Eagle and you joining forces, Bain and the rest won't be a match for you even with me. Since I'm not a match for you, I don't want to die like this. I hope that Protector Lu Xing will take me in. Even if Protector Lu Xing replaces Chago in the future, I will definitely stand behind Protector Lu Xing. Oh. Qin Yu looks at Yezhong, but doesn't say anything. Instead, he waves his sleeve, and waves of star power roll out, directly taking in Ran, Mu Su, and Bain's Yuanying. At the same time, he also takes in their storage bracelets and spiritual weapons. These 3 Yuanying unexpectedly didn't self-detonate in the end. Qin Yu cannot help saying laughingly as he recalls the scene of Xiang Yang's self-detonation. If the 3 of them had self-detonated, Qin Yu would not have been able to obtain their Yuanying at least. Yezhong however says, Protector Lu Xing, only idiots would self-detonate in Yuanying. What kind of idiot is that? Qin Yu asks in reply. Yezhong says directly, when a Zuyoist is killed, his soul will still stay in his body for a split second, which is enough time for him to self-detonate. Having the conditions to self-detonate is one thing, having the guts to self-detonate is another. Firstly, once a Yuanying self-detonate, the enemies nearby will sense the energy waves and will avoid it extremely quickly. Even if the self-detonation can injure the enemies, it can't kill them. Secondly, which is also the most important reason, once a Yuanying self-detonate, his soul will also be blown to smithereens. A faint smile appears on Yezhong's face. Firstly, it can't kill the enemies. Secondly, it can also cause one's soul to be blown to smithereens. How many Zuyoists would dare to do that? All of them are very clear about the terror of having their soul blown to smithereens. Once their soul is blown to smithereens, they will truly disappear from the world forever. A hint of solemnity appears on Yezhong's face. Qin Yu and Kuro exchange a look. Ye Zhong is right. Generally speaking, it is really difficult for yuanying self-detonation to kill the enemies. After all, even self-detonation takes some time to activate and the enemies have enough time to avoid it. Even if they are seriously injured, they won't die. Who would be willing to have their soul blown to smithereens if they can't kill the enemies? But the only use of yuanying self-detonation is to prevent the enemies from obtaining your yuanying. Ye Zhong says smilingly. Qin Yu immediately bursts into a smile. In this battle, he obtained 3 yuanying in one breath. After all, yuanying is the energy core of those Zuyoists. This time, after going back to practice properly, he will definitely make a great progress. Then why didn't Baiyin and the other 2 self-detonate? Qin Yu says. If they self-detonate, won't that mean that I won't be able to obtain their yuanying? Looks like they are still cowards. Ye Zhong says disdainfully, self-detonation? Do they dare to? Moreover, that Ran Ran and Baiyin basically didn't have a chance to self-detonate. I directly smashed the Ran Ran's head with a punch and destroyed his soul at the same time. Senior Black Eagle also destroyed Baiyin's head and destroyed his soul at the same time. Without their souls, they won't be able to self-detonate even if they wanted to. As for Mu Su, since he's already dead, what's the use of yuanying? Such a selfish person wouldn't have the courage to destroy his own soul. Ye Zhong looks at Qin Yu doubtfully and says to him, Guardian Lu Xing, could it be that you don't know that this soul is very weak? It can be destroyed directly with just a blow. Qin Yu is astonished. Qin Yu hasn't thought too deeply about this. But when he thinks about it carefully, this is indeed the case. Just now, when Qin Yu killed Mu Su, he only destroyed his heart. If he had directly destroyed his head and shattered his soul, that would have been the most straightforward way to deal with him. Kill the enemy and destroy his soul so that he will never be able to turn the situation around. It's not just the soul. Even if the yuanying fuses with the soul and leaves the body, it will still be extremely weak. You see those super experts who lost their bodies. Why did they cultivate as loose immortals? It's because even though the yuanying has a lot of energy, its defense is too weak. It doesn't dare to attack the enemy. Qin Yu immediately understood what he meant. Even experts who have reached the insightful emptiness realm wouldn't let the yuanying fuse with the soul and leave the body to fight with others. Firstly, the yuanying's defense isn't strong enough. Secondly, the yuanying fuses with the soul. Once the yuanying gets injured, it's very easy for the soul to be damaged, which is fatal. After losing their bodies, those super experts have to cultivate as loose immortals and gather the body of a loose immortal to protect their core yuanying. At this moment, Qin Yu has a good impression of this Ye Zhong. Ye Zhong, this time I betrayed the cave master. If you don't die and inform the cave master, what should I do? It's not a good idea to cut the weeds without removing the roots. I have no reason to let you go, Qin Yu says in a low voice. Hearing Qin Yu's words, Ye Zhong's face instantly turns serious. Ye Zhong raises his palm and says seriously, I, Ye Zhong, swear to the heavens that if I betray Guardian Lu Xing and reveal his secret, then I'll be struck by lightning. My soul will scatter and I'll never be reincarnated. Ye Zhong's voice is loud and very serious. Qin Yu and Kuro both felt a special feeling. It's a feeling that can only be felt by the soul. It's a feeling of the heavens and earth. All right. Qin Yu smiles. As a cultivator, Qin Yu is very clear about oaths. If these oaths are violated, then they will definitely come true. Perhaps in the mortal world, there are some ignorant mortals who would casually swear. Qin Yu and company don't dare to casually swear. However, you and my second brother Kuro should hide for a period of time. When everything is safe, I will directly inform you through the transmission token. Qin Yu has already made a plan in his heart. He immediately says to Ye Zhong. Ye Zhong smiles and says, I understand Guardian's meaning. I believe Guardian Lu Xing still wants to push the responsibility to me. Qin Yu gives a smile. Having a clever subordinate, especially one who will absolutely not betray him, this kind of feeling is pretty good. Guardian Lu Xing, I have something to tell you. It's very important. If we fail, I'm afraid your plan won't work. Ye Zhong's expression is somewhat solemn. Qin Yu also looks at Ye Zhong, waiting to hear what Ye Zhong has to say. Guardian Lu Xing, Baiyin already used the transmission token to spread the news that you're a traitor. Qin Yu's face changes color at once. Oh no. In a split second, Qin Yu's entire back is drenched in cold sweat. Once the news of his betrayal spreads out, the master of the Red Blood Cave will definitely not let him off. Blood-red aquatic pythons are extremely formidable demonic beasts and have reached the early Dongshu stage. It's really hard to say how powerful Shahon is. Guardian Lu Xing, you don't have to worry. Ye Zhong says confidently. Qin Yu looks at the current Ye Zhong. Seeing his confident appearance, he cannot help having a hint of expectation. He immediately asks, "What kind of plan do you have, Ye Zhong? Don't hesitate to tell me." Ye Zhong says with a nod, "Guardian Lu Xing, all the guardians of the Red Blood Cave have their own plans. Which of them is absolutely loyal? Even if Baiyin tells the other guardians about this, will they still dare to take the initiative to spread the news? Guardian Ho Fei's power is not to be trifled with." As soon as these words come out, Qin Yu feels relaxed. With Ho Fei around, will those people dare to oppose Qin Yu? What's more, is what Guardian Baiyin said true? Ye Zhong laughs strangely. Qin Yu stares blankly for a moment, then laughs too. That's right. Was the news that Protector Baiyin passed on definitely true? Could it be that it was Guardian Baiyin who framed him? In any case, all the witnesses at the scene are dead and the dead cannot testify. If Qin Yu still does not know what to do at this point, he will be a real idiot. Baiyin, he said that I betrayed him. Can't I say that he betrayed me? Besides, I have a witness. After discovering this, Qin Yu changes his plan again. Originally, he did not want to let Ye Zhong go back and hide outside for a period of time. Now, he wants to let Ye Zhong go back. He is a great witness. The main reason is that Ye Zhong was seen as too honest in the past. Ye Zhong also nods. However, Guardian Lu Xing must kill one person. That person is Sang Mo. Sang Mo has a grudge against you. If he knows about this, he will definitely think of ways to bewitch the cave master. I know the cave master. Although he is ambitious and ruthless, he is also very suspicious. Once Sang Mo succeeds, then Qin Yu hears Ye Zhong's words, and his heart is clear. Outsiders may be afraid of Ho Fei's power, and will not provoke Qin Yu. After all, even if they report it, it will not benefit those people. Instead, they will offend Qin Yu. However, Sang Mo is different. He will definitely think of ways to deal with Qin Yu. Not good. He is now in the cave. Even if I rush back at full speed, it will take more than half a day. Qin Yu's expression changes. Zhuang Zhong says smilingly, "If my guess is correct, that Sang Mo must have followed us out. Now, Guardian Lu Xing only needs to send a message to Guardian Ho Fei and let him investigate. If Ho Fei is in the cave master's residence, kill him directly. If he is not in the cave master's residence, kill him immediately. If he is not in the cave master's residence, let Guardian Ho Fei prepare to kill Sang Mo outside the Red Blood Cave." However, Qin Yu thought of something. If Sang Mo knew about this and directly told the cave master through the transmission token, it would be terrible. Ye Zhong seems to have guessed Qin Yu's thoughts, and said, "Guardian, don't worry. The cave master definitely doesn't know. Since 100 years ago, the cave master has often been in closed-door training, and it is taboo to disturb him when he is in closed-door training. Even when he is in closed-door training, he doesn't even bring a transmission token. This is something that almost every guardian knows." Qin Yu smiles. He and Ho Fei have just arrived at the Red Blood Cave, so they don't know about this. Fei Fei, quickly go and check whether Sang Mo is in the Blood Red Cave or not. If he is, kill him directly. If he isn't, then kill him. If he is not, prepare to kill Sang Mo at the entrance of the cave master's residence. No matter what, you must not let Sang Mo see the cave master. Through the transmission token, Qin Yu sent this message to Ho Fei. Ho Fei, who is more daring than the sky, is the best at doing this kind of thing. Qin Yu is also very relieved. Guardian Lu Xing, I still have a secret to tell you. This time, in order to show his loyalty, Zhuangzhong seems to want to tell Qin Yu everything. In fact, Zhuangzhong also knows that if he hides a secret, it will not be a good thing when Qin Yu finds out that he is hiding something. Yezhong can see clearly that Qin Yu now has two super experts, Kuro and Ho Fei. According to his judgment, Ho Fei and Kuro are at least at the late stage of yuanying, or even stronger. With such strength, it won't be a problem for him to rely on them. Qin Yu's face shows a trace of a smile. Oh, what secret? At this moment, Qin Yu is also very satisfied with Yezhong. Yezhong says seriously, no matter how diligent a person is in cultivation, he won't go into closed-door training for 100 years. According to my investigation, Shahon wasn't this diligent 100 years ago. 100 years ago, there were more than 20 guardians in the Red Blood Cave, but for some reason, more than half of them suddenly disappeared. Combined with his frequent closed-door training in the past 100 years, I think that Shahon has been in closed-door training for 100 years because of something, and this thing must be related to the disappearance of those guardians. Yezhong's eyes flashed. Chapter 124. Inside the Blood-Red Cave. I'll massage Milord's shoulders. A gentle and charming maid says to Ho Fei beside Ho Fei. While speaking, she wants to massage his shoulders. Another maid brings a plate of fruits in front of Ho Fei and even peels the fruit for Ho Fei. Ho Fei blinks his fiery eyes twice. His entire body seems to be petrified. However, in just a moment, he roars angrily. Get out, get out. Ho Fei glares with his fiery eyes. His entire body seems to be extremely angry. He directly kicks the two maids out. Ho Fei stared at the two maids that he had pushed out, breathing heavily through his nose. Damn, this woman is really a scourge. At this moment, he can still feel goosebumps rising on the places where the maids touched him. That chap really doesn't know whether he's good or bad. Why did he hire a few women as servants? Ho Fei snorts. At this moment, Ho Fei utters an "a" sound. Who's sending me a message at this time? He flips his hand and a message token appears in his hand. Once he becomes a Dharma protector, the Red Blood Cave will give Qin Yu and Ho Fei 2 message tokens each. Sang Mo. Ho Fei licks his lips with his scarlet tongue. With an ominous glint in his eyes, he says with a strange laugh, Big brother, you've finally been enlightened. Kaka, I've long found that Sang Mo an eyesore. After saying this, Ho Fei spreads out his spiritual sense and begins to search carefully. Although the Red Blood Cave covers a large area, it is still completely covered by Ho Fei's spiritual sense. This Ho Fei is really very arrogant. He's searching for people in such a direct way. Inside the Blood-Red Cave, there are only 2 people whose spiritual sense surpasses Ho Fei's. One is Teng Bai, and the other is Shahon. At this moment, Teng Bai, who is sitting cross-legged in his room, opens his eyes and says to himself, Then why is Ho Fei searching with his soul sense? After thinking for a moment, Teng Bai smiled. He was not interested in other people's affairs. What he was interested in was the upcoming battle with Ho Fei. As for Shahon, who was trying his best to open the seal on the black jade box, he didn't have the time to think about what Ho Fei was doing. He's not here. Ho Fei let out a breath through his nose, and his eyes flashed with a fierce light. You're lucky. You won't die for the time being. But if I take action, you won't have any hope of survival. Master Ho laughed strangely, and his whole body turned into a shadow and rushed out of his courtyard. The 2 maids who were pushed out were still complaining that Ho Fei, this damned monkey, did not know how to flirt with women. However, a gust of wind blew through the gate of the courtyard. Yen, has His Excellency gone out? An oval-faced maid blinks her big eyes and says. The other oval-faced maid also nods, but they are also amazed by Ho Fei's speed. After all, these maids have reached the Jin Dan stage, but even they, Zuyoists, cannot see Ho Fei's figure clearly. It is easy to imagine how fast he is. Ho Fei's figure suddenly appears at the entrance of the Red Blood Cave. His Excellency. As soon as the guards of the Red Blood Cave see Ho Fei, one of them hurriedly says respectfully, "What's the matter, His Excellency? Can we help you?" These guards all know how formidable this new monkey-like guardian is. Ho Fei glances at the guards on both sides of him and says laughingly, "Master Ho, I don't have anything to do. I'm just waiting for someone." "Right, how long has it been since Sang Mo Protector left?" One of the guards hurriedly says, "Reporting to His Excellency, Sang Mo Protector has been out for more than half a day." Hearing this, Ho Fei turns his hand and a transmitter appears in it. He directly sends a message to Qin Yu. After receiving the transmitter, Ho Fei leans against the entrance of the cave and stares outside the cave with his fiery eyes, waiting for Sang Mo's arrival. Times, Big Brother, that bastard Sang Mo isn't in the cave. He's been out for more than half a day. But don't worry, Big Brother. I'm already waiting at the entrance of the cave. As soon as I see Sang Mo, I'll turn him into a meat patty. Kaka, seeing this message, Qin Yu looks at Yezhong with appreciation. Yezhong's prediction is very accurate. According to the news, Sang Mo has been out for more than half a day. It seems that Sang Mo really followed us out. Qin Yu says with a smile. Yezhong's eyes brightens and hurriedly says, "Protector Lu Xing, in terms of speed, between you and Sang Mo, who's faster and who's slower?" In terms of speed? 3 years ago, even if Sang Mo used his true body to fly, he still wouldn't be able to catch up to Qin Yu's speed. 3 years later, Qin Yu's speed is much faster than Sang Mo's. Even if Sang Mo used his true body to fly, he still wouldn't be able to catch up to me. Qin Yu says with a smile. Yezhong hurriedly says, "Since Sang Mo has been following us for so long, he shouldn't be too far away from us at this moment. If we chase him now, there's still hope to catch up to him. If we kill him before we reach the cave, then it'll be easier to solve this problem." Kuro says via Holy Sense communication, "In terms of speed, Big Brother is also inferior to me. I'll go." After saying so, Kuro prepares to chase after him. "Xiao Hei, you're still being chased, so you can't enter the territory of the Blood Red Ridge. How about this? You can chase after him, but if you catch him after chasing for more than half of the distance, you can immediately give up and stop chasing him." Qin Yu says emphatically. Kuro nods his head like an eagle. He naturally knows that Qin Yu is doing this for his own good. This is not the time to confront Shahon head-on. "All right, Big Brother. No matter whether I catch him or not, I'll leave right away afterwards." After you finish dealing with this blood-red cave, you can contact me directly. We brothers also need a territory in the underwater Xiaoyao world. I think the blood-red cave is a good choice. The Black Eagle's eyes glitter with a cold light. Qin Yu gives a faint smile. Territory? If not for the Red Blood Cave's territory, why would he be feigning civility with Shahon? After all, Ho Fei and Xiao Hei are here, so it'll be very difficult for Shahon to deal with him. But if he wants to seize the Red Blood Cave, it'll be a bit difficult. Firstly, even though the power of those 5,000 guards is average, they have a lot of people. Moreover, Qin Yu suspects that they will definitely use a formation to attack together. After all, they have a lot of people. If they attack together, it'll be very terrifying. Secondly, those guardians are not easy to deal with either. If he confronts them head-on, the guardians will definitely have to fight against them. Therefore, it'll be easier to deal with them from the inside. Don't worry. Yezhong, you're slow, so stay behind. Xiao Hei and I will go first. Qin Yu says directly. Kuro utters a shrill cry. Blood-red lightning starts to spread on his wings. With a shake of his wings, Xiao Hei turns into a red beam of light and leaves Qin Yu far behind in an instant. Qin Yu also drives his flying sword and uses the man-weapon unification to chase after him extremely fast. Times Sang Mo shuttles through the water extremely fast. I really can't wait to see the scene of Lu Xing fleeing in panic and being hunted down. This time he definitely won't be able to escape. Ha ha. A sharp, evil laughter comes out from Sang Mo's throat. Right afterwards, his entire body turns into a huge octopus. When Sang Mo turns into his original form, his speed immediately increases by a lot. When Sang Mo first started to follow the 5 guardians, he pulled far away from them. When he received news from Baiyin, he immediately started to hurry. After Qin Yu and the others killed Baiyin and the others, they spent a lot of time discussing with each other. In other words, Sang Mo started to rush towards the Red Blood Cave very early on. When they came out, Sang Mo flies leisurely. When they return, he uses his original form to rush back. The 2 speeds are completely different, so naturally it takes a lot less time to return. Times a red beam of light shoots past. Wherever it passes, there are surging undercurrents. Suddenly, the red beam of light stops. I actually didn't catch up. Kuro looks ahead with his eagle eyes, then decides to stop. In fact, in order not to worry Qin Yu, he only rushed halfway. With Kuro's speed, he can definitely catch up to Sang Mo if he continues to rush. However, Kuro is currently being hunted down by the Red Blood Cave. It's better to stay away from the Red Blood Cave. With Fei's strength, Sang Mo won't be able to withstand even one move. It's useless for me to chase after him. It's better to let Fei do it. Kuro then directly sends a message to Qin Yu, then flies in another direction. In Kuro's opinion, with Ho Fei around, Sang Mo is definitely dead. Only after a while, Qin Yu also flies to the place where Kuro was a moment ago. I wonder where Sang Mo started to rush back. Plus, he's much earlier than me. Qin Yu does not slow down. He directly rushes towards the Red Blood Cave as fast as he can. He is only trying his best to catch up. It's not a big deal even if he can't. Times, who? The huge octopus turns into a huge red beam of light, shuttling back and forth in the blood-red ridge. Sensing its enormous aura, the Zuyoists in the blood-red ridge all stay far away from it. Sang Mo has already arrived at the blood-red ridge. Before long, Sang Mo's blood-red eyes have already seen the Red Blood Cave in the distance. At this moment, Ho Fei, who is leaning against the gate of the Red Blood Cave, suddenly opens his fiery eyes. A dazzling beam of light shoots out from Ho Fei's eyes towards Sang Mo's direction. At the same time, Ho Fei's entire body soars into the sky. Ga, Sang Mo, you wicked thief! For some unknown reason, Ho Fei's eyes blaze. The hair on his entire body stands straight up as if he is extremely angry. The black stick in his hand gives off a murderous aura of death. Sang Mo, who has rushed back with great difficulty, is so frightened that his whole body trembles as soon as he hears Ho Fei's shout. Sang Mo has also heard about Ho Fei's power. Even when Baiyin, Chap and the others joined hands, they still collapsed in an instant. Ho Fei, what are you doing? Sang Mo changes into his human form and shouts while looking at Ho Fei in the distance. At the same time, a transmitter appears in Sang Mo's hand, which is behind his back. In just a moment, the transmitter disappears again. Sang Mo's mouth has a trace of a smile. Facing Ho Fei, he can't use force. He can only use soft tactics. Why are you still asking me what I am doing? You still have the face to ask me what I am doing? Ho Fei's entire body trembles in anger. His aura is violent and raging. When the Red Blood Cave sees the 2 guardians confronting each other, they naturally don't dare to intervene. Why is Guardian Ho Fei so angry? Is there even a need to ask? Sang Mo Protector must have offended someone. You also know that Sang Mo Protector has very bad relations with others. It seems that the 13 guardians all have allies. Except for Sang Mo Protector and Teng Bai, there are no allies. Guardian Teng Bai is strong and disdains him. Guardian Sang Mo, you're just a bad person. That's true. The others are intimidated by the Cave Master's prestige and don't dare to do anything to Sang Mo. However, Guardian Ho Fei seems to have a very bad temper. It seems that Sang Mo has met his match this time. The guards also began to talk. These guards were very familiar with each of the protectors. However, they are right. Among the 13 guardians, only Tang Bai and Sang Mo are alone. Tang Bai is strong, but Sang Mo is a bit strange and sinister, and has poor relations with others. Sang Mo is baffled by Ho Fei's question. How did I offend him? Sang Mo can't figure it out. Seeing Ho Fei's angry appearance, even Sang Mo himself thinks that he must have offended Ho Fei for some reason. However, he can't think of an answer. Could it be because of Guardian Lu Xing? That's not right. Didn't I ask Guardian Lu Xing to kill the Black Eagle in the main hall? It's not worth Guardian Ho Fei's reaction. Sang Mo can't figure out the reason. Extremely furious, Ho Fei turns his face upwards and roars madly. He shouts, Sang Mo, you bastard, listen up. From now on, it's either you or me. Take this. Ho Fei brandishes his black stick. His entire body turns into a beam of light and smashes towards Sang Mo like a meteorite. Hearing take this, Sang Mo's entire body is shaken. Only now does he know that Ho Fei wants to kill him. Ho Fei wants to kill him. A person whom he simply can't fight against wants to kill him. Growl, facing death, Sang Mo instantly transforms into a huge red octopus. At the same time, he lets out an extremely furious and fearful roar. The roar resounds within a radius of several hundred li, attracting the attention of a large number of Zuyoists. The black stick lengthened from an ordinary stick to a length of more than 10 meters. Boom! At the most critical moment, Sang Mo's fear of death causes him to perform better than usual. Sang Mo's 8 tentacles shake and he flees extremely fast. However, even though he has performed better than usual, he is still far inferior to a middle Yuanying divine beast. Boom! Blood bursts out like an explosion. Broken tentacles fly in all directions. Blood stains the area within a radius of several hundred meters. Ho Fei is secretly amazed. Just now his stick unexpectedly did not kill Sang Mo facing death. Sang Mo has performed better than usual and is much faster than before. Even though 3 of his tentacles were broken by Ho Fei's stick, his head was not hit. It should be known that just now Ho Fei was going to hit Sang Mo's head. Sang Mo, you even dare to run away. You even have the face to run away. Take this. On the surface, Ho Fei is even angrier. With a roar, he swings the black stick and attacks again. The shadow of the black stick is like a giant pillar supporting the sky. Stop! Chap, who rushed out of the cave, shouts. Hearing Chap's shouts, Ho Fei has a cruel sneer at the corner of his mouth. The speed of the black stick increases again. The speed is so fast that the undersea water does not have time to react. It is as if time has stopped and the sea water is not flowing at all. What? Looking at the huge black stick that appears in front of him almost instantaneously, Sang Mo's eyes are wide open. Boom! The seawater, which seemed to have been frozen in time, suddenly exploded. At the same time, the huge octopus corpse exploded as well. The octopus corpse shattered into countless pieces and exploded in all directions. Blood sprayed out in an area of several thousand meters. Ho Fei's figure flashes and returns to the entrance of the red blood cave. Ho Fei, why don't you stop? Chap shouts angrily. At this moment, he is still holding the transmission token in his hand. The transmission token contains the message that Sang Mo just sent to him. You're tuning in to the Narrate and Escape YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.